4 drivers fighting for a title.
When you get in a tough situation and your back's against the wall, sometimes you persevere.
You beat the best, baby.
We have to make it happen in the most important race of the year.
The Xfinity Series, where names are made, where legends are made.
It won't be easy, but I'd love to be standing 2 years in a row on that stage in Homestead and be able to say we're NASCAR champions.
He does want to go back-to-back as far as championships. The last championship he won was actually a Truck Series championship a year ago. Again, welcome to the Xfinity Series championship and the Ford EcoBoost 300 from Miami. Want to get a few updates before they fire the engines? Let's go trackside to Kelly Stavist.
Well, Rick, after running 2 difficult seasons in a Cup car, Justin Allgaier said that he essentially had to relearn how to race here in the Xfinity Series, how to compete up front. Well, he proved to be a quick study. While this team doesn't have a win to show for their 2016 season, they have shown good consistency and a whole lot of heart, and they know that they might be the underdogs in this championship 4 scenario. But they're looking to steal the spotlight and the championship here today. Justin Allgaier starts this one 6th. Dave Burns.
Kelly, Eric Jones has had the most speed, yet the least consistency in the chase so far. Perhaps that's a byproduct of being 20 years old, the youngest in the chase, and a rookie in this series. He's fast beyond his years, and if he adds a little wisdom today, perhaps Eric will be great. Marty Snyder?
Dave, to gain an understanding of why this championship means so much to Elliott Sadler, just think about his 2016 season. In July, his sponsor, One Main Financial, said, we're not coming back to the Xfinity Series and leaving the series overall. And then in August, they decided they were coming back. Elliott told me in that time between that he really felt like he was being swept under the rug at 41 years old, and he would not have a shot to drive any longer. Now this driver from Little Emporia, Virginia, has a shot to win his first ever NASCAR championship, something he appreciates so much more now than he ever did earlier this year. Mike Massaro.
Marty, it's a long way from Emporia, Virginia, all the way to Monterrey, Mexico. That's where pole sitter Daniel Suarez is from. And today, he sits on the cusp of an historic accomplishment, attempting to become the first foreign-born driver to win a major NASCAR title. What's his approach? He says simple. We have to go into this race with the mentality that we need to win the race. Worry about one car, our own. And if he does that, he feels like they will win the championship. Rick, he's got a very fast race car and looking to break a barrier that's never been broken before.
And Mike, I tell you, it hasn't been without its challenges this weekend, especially yesterday during final practice. Daniel Suarez running around the bottom of the track, and right in front of him, Ray Black Jr. spins, and it was probably about a foot that separated the 2 cars.
He did a really nice job of not panicking and just recognizing the situation. You see right here, all of a sudden the car in front of him was spinning out and took really the only route he had, which was to go around him. Couldn't slow down enough to go underneath him. So luckily, Ray Black was away from the wall and gave him a hole to go into.
And that was only practice, Rick. We haven't even seen the ups and downs that these drivers are going to have to go through, the teams are going to have to go through over the course of this race. It could be on the racetrack, between the drivers and the spotters, on pit road, between the drivers and the pit crews. At any point, there's going to be curveballs thrown to these 4 championship competitors. It's really going to come down to, in my mind, who can adapt, who can overcome.
And who can handle the pressure the best. In a series where the tagline is where names are made, right now, all 4 of these drivers are trying to make a name for themselves today.
That's right, and adversity. It's going to happen. You're going to have a time in this race where things aren't going the way you want it to go. Who takes the best chance, who takes advantage of the opportunities presented and doesn't let those adversities ruin their chance to win a championship?
But as we look inside the cars, now's that time. Take a deep breath. You're in your office. You're in where you have done your business all year long. You have to just now focus at the task at hand. Try to calm the nerves the best you can. The crew chief is going to have to give a pep talk to the pit crew. If you want to win a championship, now's the time. One race for all the marbles.
Jeff, is the comfort level right now when you fire the engine, all of a sudden now you're comfortable?
When it rolls off pit road and you get on the racetrack, you start focusing on the race at that point. Right now, you're just waiting to get going.
And it's time to fire the engine, so let's go trackside now for today's command.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Captain of the Time Bandit, and star of the hit TV show Deadliest Catch, Jonathan Hillstrand.
Drivers, start your engines! Break them up, gang. Everybody fired up from here, right? Fired up. There's the commander. Fired home. Fired up. Fired up. Yes, sir. 500.
The focus of an entire season all culminates today. It all culminates right now. The green flag about to fly on 4 drivers' championship hopes. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Ford. We go further so you can. Xfinity. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR.
There it goes. You beat the best, baby.
Suarez has put on a clinic today.
Elliott Sadler will win.
Welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway as we get ready for 200 laps, 300 miles in the Ford EcoBoost 300. Let's take a look at today's starting grid brought to you by Ford. The front row made up of 2 of the championship 4. Daniel Suarez, his 3rd pole of the 2016 season, 24-year-old out of Monterrey, Mexico. And Elliott Sadler, a 41-year-old out of Emporia, Virginia, with his best start of the year.
In row 2, we have Eric Jones. He's been the best finisher among the Ford Chasers 11 times this season, starting next to Ryan Blaney.
In row 3, we find Austin Dillon, who'll start next to the 4th of the championship 4, Justin Allgaier.
Back in row 4, it's Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman, 2 drivers that will run in the Cup race tomorrow. Kyle Larson actually won this race a year ago.
In row 5, we have Darrell Wallace Jr. starting next to Brandon Jones, has a new crew chief today, Nick Harrison.
Row 6, we have Ty Dillon, who's looking to get his first win of the season. He'll start next to Blake Cook.
Back in row 7, it's Ryan Reed and Brendan Gaughan, 2 drivers that were a part of the chase. They left after the round of 8.
In row 8, we have Eric Almirola and Cole Witt. Cole's making his 2nd start of the season today.
Row 9, we have Brennan Poole and 18-year-old Cole Custer.
And back in row 10, it's J.J. Yaley and Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, a Florida native out of Alva. See if we can chat with one of the championship 4. Jeff, can you dial up Eric Jones?
Hey, Eric, is Jeff up in the NBC booth? You with us?
10-4, I got you guys.
Well, you came here last year battling for a truck championship, but you had a big point advantage coming in. Today, it's all tied. How does that change your strategy?
Well, honestly, I think it's just less pressure for me. We were the ones that had it all to lose last year, so this year it's kind of straight up and everybody's on the same playing field. So we just get to go out, race, have fun, and take our GameStop Camry to the front.
Tell us what the biggest challenge of this racetrack is.
Well, the biggest challenge is the finesse it takes. Obviously, the predominant line is usually right up against the wall, and as we all know, it's not easy to run right up against the wall. So keeping the right side on it, still going fast, and making speed is not always the simplest thing here. So you just need to balance your race and make sure you're keeping your car clean and giving yourself a shot there at the end.
Well, Eric, thank you. We know there's a lot on the line for you today. Thank you for taking time, and good luck.
10-4, thank you, guys.
Amazing the maturity in his voice at just 20 years old. We will ride along with a few different drivers, as well as have our aerial coverage provided by our partners at Smithfield Foods as they jockey for positions, getting ready for the start of this race. We will ride along with a few different drivers. Take us through them.
Yeah, the first car we'll ride is the Ford in-car camera. Ryan Blaney, he'll be starting the second row in the 4th position.
Yeah, and with him on the second row is Eric Jones, and he has the advanced auto parts camera. And starting second, another championship contender, Elliott Sadler, the Hunt Brothers Pizza camera.
And the pole sitter today, Daniel Suarez, will carry the Aris in-car camera.
Before the green flag flies, let's get a few more updates from pit road. We'll start with Kelly.
Rick, there's one word that constantly swirls around this new chase form, and that's pressure. But when I talked to Justin Allgaier, he said the pressure for the 7 team came last week when they had to race their way into this championship 4. He told me they're treating this just like any other race, and if they have a good, clean one, they can put themselves in contention to capitalize when someone else fails, succumbs to that pressure, Dave.
Kelly, for Eric Jones, racing has always been about family, but he lost a big part of that in June when his dad, Dave, died. At Michigan the following weekend, his teammate and championship rival Daniel Suarez won the race and dedicated the win to the Jones family. Today, Eric's mom and sister are here. Eric's hoping he can deliver the championship in honor of his dad. Marty?
Dave, if Elliott Sadler wins a championship today, he'll have to do it without his normal crew chief, Kevin Manring, but they've gone to the bench with some strength. Mike Bumgarner, longtime crew chief and crew member in the NASCAR area. He's won in the Xfinity Series with Kyle Busch before, and he was on the pit box 3 weeks ago with Chase Elliott. They finished second at Martinsville. He's hoping he can get the win in the championship for Sadler today, Mike.
Marty, just to give you an understanding of just how big this championship would be for Mexican-born Daniel Suarez, all you need to do is look at some Mexican publications. These are printouts from newspapers south of the border. All the headlines about Daniel Suarez. Suarez was there earlier this month for a public relations event. Got a first-hand idea of how the reaction is. He said they're going absolutely crazy. He feels like, though, he's not only representing Mexico, but all of Latin America today, Rick.
Broad shoulders to carry the country with you in this championship run as we take a look at the Homestead-Miami Speedway race analysis. 200 laps, 300 miles, 45 miles per hour on pit road, and 55 to 60 laps is the fuel window. 2 by 2, all in line behind 2 championship 4 drivers in Suarez and Elliott Sadler. Eric Jones back there in the second row, and in the third row, the other championship 4 driver of Justin Allgaier. An uphill battle for the 7 team, Justin Allgaier. Again, the way the format works, whichever one of the 4 drivers, the championship 4 drivers, that finishes in front of the other 3, that driver will be the champion. 200 laps about to get underway. The final race of the season. Who will end up winning the race, and will they be the champion? The green flag is in the air from Miami. It did not take long for this field to go 2, 3, and 4 wide. Through 1 and 2, they did it. All the way down the backstretch and through 3 and 4. We heard the drivers mention the preferred line is going to end up being toward the top of the track, right up against the wall. But early on, Daniel Suarez, race leader, has decided to use the middle of the racetrack to find his way around.
In that bottom lane, Elliott Sadler did not get a good start of the race, and that moved him back to third, but also The 20 was right behind him, and he's all the way back in 7th place.
And dropping. 20 of Eric Jones trying to find a spot to move into. Now the 88 coming up. Alex Bowman trying to go by. Let's take a look at that start.
On this restart, it looks like the 1 just doesn't get going, and the 20 trying to get going, gets into the back of the 1, hits the back, not in the bumper, but hit him in the bumper, but on the left side of the bumper. You can see it wrinkled up the quarter panel a little bit. I don't think that's a lot of damage, but not the start Elliott Sadler wanted at all.
Or Eric Jones.
Yeah, Eric was trying to get moving, but the 1 of Elliott Sadler just did not get a good launch.
A little bit of bumper and fender damage for the 1 car. We'll have to look a little closer at the front of the 20 to find out if there's any damage to the front of that car, as Eric Jones trying to find a spot to settle into, now 7th.
Yeah, and the big winner on this initial start of the race is Justin Allgaier from the 6th position. You see him clearing his teammate of Elliott Sadler right there. He found some good laps up top, and we have a caution. The 13's going around, Rick.
Right at Hightower, and the 13 goes around, bringing out the first caution on lap 4. And so as interesting as that first start of this race was, we're going to have a restart very quickly.
Absolutely. What I was saying about Justin Allgaier is I thought he was just in the preferred lane on the top of the racetrack, made some ground, but then he went to the bottom and cleared his teammate Elliott Sadler. So the 7 looks like his car is working in both the top and the bottom.
Take another look at what happened. Get Brandon Hightower in that 13 this week.
Just got loose on corner entry and stayed in the gas all the way around the corner and did a nice job of never hitting anything. But, you know, we talked about dealing with adversity. And the first, in my eyes, the driver that's dealing with adversity the most right now is Eric Jones. I mean, he started 3rd. He's already back to 7th. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal on lap 5, but now he has a lot of good cars. He's got to get around it. He started in front of them already, but now he's got to go past them because of the initial start of the race.
And Jeff, at the Sprint Cup race tomorrow, maybe not after 4 laps, but 6, 8, 10 laps, we would expect to see all the cars come to pit road. But with the limited amount of tires, Rick, these drivers just can't come to pit road and make adjustments. So older tires, even with 4 laps on them, now that they're warm and lost a little bit of grip, it has to be more difficult now going up through the gears.
Oh, it is. The tire, you're going to spin the tires. It's going to be easier to have a problem. And you know, we already saw one. I think Elliott Sadler is going to be just fine. He's going to be restarting on the outside line, which is where I think you want to be. But I believe Eric Jones, he's going to have to start on the bottom again.
And so an early caution will re-rack the starts, and we'll see the restart when we come back.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, third-place qualifier and championship contender Eric Jones has lost 4 positions. Here's why.
That's 4 green flag. What'd you have to fire off there? Fine. I just can't go anywhere because everybody just keeps getting huge runs everywhere and then holds me down in the corners. So yeah, simple. I'm just checking your balance. It's all about momentum and drafting and all that stuff right now. Just be smart. We'll be fine.
Second run coming up now, Rick.
Yeah, sounded a little frustrated on the radio.
And that's the problem with the inside line. These engines don't make a tremendous amount of power. When somebody pinches you off, it kills the way the engine accelerates. That's why they want this top line.
He moves out of line. Eric Jones looking to the inside. Now makes it 3 wide as they go to turn 1.
The question with Eric Jones on the bottom there, 3 wide, is that move going to help him or hurt him? He made a move to get on the inside of someone, but now all that momentum on the outside lane is coming.
Elliott Sadler able to clear the 7. Justin Allgaier, now they're 3 wide, fighting for position. Kyle Larson on the outside in the 42, trying to take 3rd.
And the 3 at Ty Dillon is thinking 4 wide. Luckily they got...
Clear high, 1 inside the 3.
You heard right there a little bit of amped up response from the spotter of the session 7, TJ Majors.
Again, a great start for Daniel Suarez. He jumps out in front. Ryan Blaney runs 2nd. Kyle Larson 3rd. Elliott Sadler, Ty Dillon the top 5. Alex Bowman in the 88 trying to get by Dillon. See Justin Allgaier coming down, running that 2nd line to the apex of the turn.
Sadler has moved up the racetrack in that blue and white number 1 car, and now he's gone back to the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2. But Elliott Sadler has always been a very good racer on the top of the racetrack. So I think this racetrack will lend itself to him as a run goes on. I think he'll be right against the wall.
Alex Bowman just in front of Ty Dillon in the 3. Dillon was a chase driver when the chase began for the Xfinity Series. This is the first year for the chase in the Xfinity Series. Ty Dillon, the grandson of Richard Childress. Definitely a car that's on the move. Has to be the 18 of Matt Tifft. He is already up to 12th after starting at the back of the field because he didn't even get out onto the track in qualifying.
Yeah, the 18 couldn't clear inspection in time for qualifying. Didn't even get a shot to make a lap. Started last up to 11th with only 11 laps complete.
He's been aggressive doing it. I've seen him 3 wide on corner entry. He has not been afraid driving back to the front.
Again, Matt Tifft making the move as we look at the Rain-X on the move. Matt Tifft has already made up 28 spots in just 11 laps. Ryan Sieg 9, Eric Almirola. So it's 6 laps made up. Marty.
And he's trying to get spot number 29, trying to get around Brendan Gaughan. And Chris Gale, the crew chief on this team, told Matt, listen, use this as a learning moment. Use this as experience. And that's really what the last couple of weekends have been for him in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He raced at Texas, made a couple of mistakes in that race, and then earlier this week in practice hit the wall here at Homestead-Miami. He said, hey, that's part of the game. You've got to learn the limits. You've got to learn how to push that and don't worry about what's going on. A battle up front, Rick, but good lesson, Steve, from an experienced crew chief to a young driver. Don't worry about it when you make mistakes. Just use it as a learning tool.
Elliott Sadler has been able to get back up to 3rd. Here comes Justin Allgaier as he looks to go inside Ryan Blaney for the 4th spot. And now, championship contenders. Suarez, Elliott Sadler, Justin Allgaier, all in the top 4. Eric Jones running back there 8th.
Eric Jones is battling against the 3 of Ty Dillon. They have had their moments over the course of this chase. We'll see. This is going to be a hard-fought battle. Ty Dillon's not going to cut Eric Jones any slack. The 20 of Eric Jones went to the bottom, beats the 3 into the corner, but you just see the advantage of that top lane on corner exit, Jeff.
That's right. Watch right here. Eric Jones beats him into the corner, 3 on the outside. Eric Jones is in the throttle, but that 3 on the outside lane, it just lets the motor run better. The car is not as tight down there, and he kills him down the front straightaway.
And those 2 cars have had a history already this season in Kentucky. Earlier, racing for the lead, Eric Jones slid up the racetrack, got into Ty Dillon, took them both into the wall and took them out of the race.
At the top of the show, we talked about how the other competitors would race the championship forward. I think all of us were thinking for the win, or how would they battle. But perhaps we had to be thinking about all of the, I won't say enemies, but altercations over the course of the year. It's time now. They need a little bit of help from those drivers, and some drivers making it harder than others.
So is anyone surprised that Elliott Sadler and Justin Allgaier are running together on the racetrack? I mean, they do this every week. Every single week, these two cars perform the same during the race. It seems like Elliott Sadler and his team find a way to be a little better at the end of the race, but this is what we've seen for the last, in my opinion, 3 months.
Here are two teammates really working together. Elliott Sadler didn't push the issue, saw the 7 coming up top. I won't say let the 7 go, but gave him the high lane into turn 3, which is basically like letting the 7 go.
And so the 1 drops back to 4th. Let's listen in on spotter communication from the 1.
Find a little something down here so we don't give so much back. 33 flat. All 4 is our biggest issue. Getting rotated back to the gas. Real nice. Nice and smooth down here. Get it pointed back on that gas pedal.
That was spotter coverage presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less. Marty?
Rick, a moment ago, Jeff was talking about how we'll see Elliott Sadler later in the race, certainly up against the wall. That is no doubt the fast way around Homestead-Miami Speedway. But Elliott's mentioned a couple of times in an earlier meeting today with Tony Stewart. He went by just to say, hey, congratulations on your career. I've appreciated you as a friend. And Tony gave him a little bit of advice. He said, listen, I know you want to run right up against the wall here at Miami. It's very tempting. No doubt that's where the speed is. But you got to have something for the end of the race. Don't mess up your car early in the weekend, or early in the race, I should say, and then not have anything for the end of the race. Remember earlier in the weekend, Elliott got into the wall by running that high line. So you see him there. That's not as high as he can go. He can go a little bit higher, and there's a little bit of speed there. But it's a risk-reward factor, right, Jeff? If you go there too early, you might mess up the car. Then you don't have the car you want to win the championship with at the end of the race. So Tony Stewart's advice to Elliott Sadler, take care of your car early. Don't go all the way to the wall. Make sure you have something to run with at the end of the race.
Well, that's really a good advice, especially running 4th. It's easy to do that running 4th, but if you could be back there in 7th, 8th, where you got to start making some ground up, then it becomes harder to manage that. You're going to have to just go wherever the car is fast. You see the 88 car getting by the 1 car. So, you know, right now, I think Elliott Sadler, he's been around for a long time, and spotter Brett Griffith, they've been together for a tremendous amount of time, since '99. They're working together, talking. They have a plan, and they'll see it through, and they'll be calm, but there'll come a point in the race where you won't be allowed to be calm anymore.
Daniel Suarez out in front. A year ago, he was the Rookie of the Year in the Xfinity Series, now trying to win the championship. Ryan Reed just trying to go through the grass in 1 and 2. Down below the apron, and that brings out the second caution of the day. Take a look at this wild ride he had.
Yeah, he got loose on corner entry, just kept chasing it and ends up correcting it, but now he's in the grass. Not real sure how he didn't spin out right there when he got in the grass, but he kept it straight.
He was running in the 13th spot. Up front, the battle for the lead was taken away from the 19 of Daniel Suarez by the 42 of Kyle Larson. So Kyle Larson is out front. That was before the spin by Ryan Reed, and Reed has brought the Lilly Diabetes Ford onto pit road.
Now, Rick, with 24 laps complete, we would expect all of the lead lap cars to pit this time by, and this is the first time we're going to see the pit crews in action. We've talked about the pressure of this race, what's on the line. It's more than just with the drivers. Think about the pit crews, loose lug nuts, loose wheels, going to have to perform.
Well, you can watch the chase for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship with the NBC Sports app and get closer with additional camera angles. There's driver stats and track information. You can watch live anywhere on any device. Find out more at NBCSports.com/live. So the second caution comes out. The first one a little bit early as far as teams coming to pit road for tires, but now about halfway through, a little less than halfway through a fuel run. So we'll see most everyone on pit road.
And I think an interesting story of today's race, looking at tomorrow's, the 7 of Justin Allgaier and the 19 of Daniel Suarez. Well, those two teams are both pitted by Sprint Cup championship contenders. The 7 uses mostly the 48 pit crew. The 19 of Daniel Suarez uses mostly the 19 pit crew of Carl Edwards. So not just some Sprint Cup drivers getting reps today, but some Sprint Cup pit crews getting reps in the same championship format.
Let's listen into team communications from Eric Jones.
Skating all over the track. It just drives horse bad right now. No grip anywhere.
Probably not what a crew chief wants to hear.
No, and you
early in this run.
Well, you have to sort through that. It wasn't a good start. Eric Jones got back in traffic. Is that the traffic making it worse? Did you just miss the adjustments? Do you have to work on your car? Is it the pressure? Sounds like there's a little bit of anxiety in his voice, or is it just that's fact? You have to kind of wade through all that to decide how big of adjustments you want to make.
Yeah, and to be clear, all of these Cup teams are not in the championship battle for tomorrow. Eric Jones' pit crew is basically the 20-car Cup team, and then Elliott Sadler is basically the 5 and a few of the 24 guys.
Here they come to pit road, led by 42 of Kyle Larson. They're coming towards you, Kelly.
Justin Allgaier has advanced 3 positions and will pit from 30. Started off by saying this car is awesome, but then got a little bit tight through the middle and free on exit. You saw they made a chassis adjustment. It's also going to be 4 good years in Sunoco fuel, Dave.
Upper right, 7th on the track, last in the championship right now. Eric Jones needs a big adjustment for a loose race car. 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Elliott Sadler said his biggest concern is that the car is loose off, and that's making him use the right rear way too much. You see them go down one round on the track bar trying to tighten up this one car, Mike.
Daniel Suarez has led 22 laps today, but he said progressively the car had gotten looser and looser over the course of that run. A 4-tire change with a wedge adjustment, and he's away. A good stop for the 19.
Great stop for the 7 as well as we look at the race off pit road, brought to you by Geico. Larson holds the top spot, but Allgaier and Bowman both moving up. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Rain-X Wiper Blades. Outsmart the elements. And by Ford. We go further so you can. First run at pit road and pretty close calls for 2 of the championship 4.
It starts with Eric Jones. You're on board with him right here. He leaves his pit stall.
One lane. He's got a pit. He's got a pit. Watch it. Start to the wall. Start to the wall.
Very heads up move there by Eric Jones. Cost him a little bit of time on pit road, but that's better than damaging a fender.
And look at Justin Allgaier as he's leaving pit road. The car in front of him comes down his stall. Justin had to slow down a little bit, and then the car in front of him, well, he's moving out. So Justin Allgaier did not have major blockage, but at the same time, he was a little bit slow down pit road, but still came out second.
Yeah, and so you look at the comparisons. You mentioned that Justin Allgaier had some issue getting down pit road, but his pit crew really made up the difference in the pit box. When you compare that to the 19 of Daniel Suarez, he has a better driver time up and down pit road, but look at that slow pit stop. Surprising, that 19 Sprint Cup crew has been rock solid all year. The group of guys that are from the 19 on this Xfinity car had a struggle there with a 15-second pit stop.
Mike Massaro.
And just to add to what Steve just mentioned about the pit stop on the 19, they lost two positions on that stop. Daniel wanted to know if he could do anything better.
Is there something I can do to help you guys on the pit road? No, we're talking about it. Sounds like we had a hose get hung up going around there, right rear.
So not completely flawless execution by the 19 team, but Steve, as you alluded to earlier, this team has the opportunity to kind of shake off the rust and get some reps today because tomorrow is a big day for them. They also pit the 19 for Carl Edwards in the Sprint Cup Series.
We'll take a look at the 19th pit stop right here. He stops, it looks on the sign, pretty decent. They go to the right side. The tires come off pretty good, but there's an issue right there on the right rear. You see the hose kind of got hung up on the inside of the tire, and then the whole timing's off. The tire carrier's in the hose going to the left side. I mean, when these pit stops are fast, it's really beautiful. Like it looks like a dance. It happens so quickly, and it doesn't take much to trip them up.
The 90 of Mario Gosselin was leaking a little oil, so they continue to clean the racetrack up. We'll take a quick break and be back for the restart. NASCAR Drive is NASCAR.com's live race day companion. You can select your in-car video or camera angle, access integrated driver stats, lap-by-lap commentary, and social conversation all in real time. You won't miss a lap when you visit NASCAR.com/drive on your personal computer now. And welcome back to the Ford EcoBoost 300. Let's go to Marty.
Rick, remember the start of the race. Elliott Sadler starting second on that inside line, and his car just didn't get the start that he wanted. And behind him was Eric Jones. You see him get into that left rear just a little bit. On Channel 2 a moment ago, Brett Griffin, the spotter, talked to Mike Bumgardner, the crew chief, said, hey, we might want to check out that damage. Take a listen.
Saying they got some possible left rear damage where the 20 hit us on the start. May have separated our spoiler from the rear quarter panel that broke the left rear fender brace. Need to get somebody up on pit wall that can really see it.
They have used our TV coverage to kind of look at that damage. They've kind of said it looks okay to them. What do you guys think up top?
I think it looks okay. I don't see any major damage. Obviously, it buckled the left rear quarter panel a little bit, but I don't see the spoiler away from that quarter panel.
2x2, pace car off the track, and green flag back in the air.
This is going to be a tough restart for both the 1 of Elliott Sadler and the 20 of Eric Jones down there on the bottom line. We've seen that bottom line really struggle to get going on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that Larson picked the inside line on that start. Dude, Allgaier could get a run off turn 2 and get alongside of him and beat him off turn 4. Larson way on the bottom down the back straightaway.
2 racing for the lead. Justin Allgaier up high, Kyle Larson down low as they go into 3. Larson's going to clear him and slide up the racetrack. Here comes Ty Dillon in the 3, working to the inside of the 19, trying to get by Daniel Suarez. As that racing is going on, 88 of Alex Bowman is making the move on the outside. Kyle Larson back out front, Allgaier running second, Daniel Suarez third, Bowman and Ty Dillon 4th and 5th, but that race hasn't been determined. Ty Dillon looking to the inside once again.
See right there, Eric Jones underneath Brendan Gaughan behind this battle. Eric is falling all the way back to 8th. Elliott Sadler back in 9th.
Jones still trying to find something on this track. He's been so successful all year. 4 wins in the Xfinity Series. And now struggling to find what he needs in the car to get up front, battling for this championship. Even behind Eric Jones is Elliott Sadler. He has fallen back to 10th. As we take a look here, here comes Suarez trying to get by the 7 of Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, we showed that the 7 of Justin Allgaier gained those spots on pit road. The 19 of Daniel Suarez wants to take them back. Suarez, as we talked about at the top of the show, so consistent all chase long. Worst finish of 5th. The 7 of Justin Allgaier probably has been a little below their own expectations, but they have made the championship 4, and they're showing they have a chance today.
Daniel Suarez at the finish line was just in front of the 42 and now has completely cleared Kyle Larson, and Suarez is back out front.
It's clear right now to all the chase contenders that Daniel Suarez has the fastest car, especially on these short runs. We saw the 42 of Larson go back and get by the 19 car on the long run, but early in the run, Suarez has the best car.
Suarez definitely looking strong. Mike?
And certainly some of the credit for that strong race car has to go to his crew chief, Scott Graves, as you see Justin Allgaier trying to make a move toward the front himself. But getting back to Graves, Graves is actually looking for his 2nd consecutive Xfinity Series title. He called the shots for Chris Buescher in his title run last year under a completely different format. Graves told me the reason he left Roush Fenway at the end of the year after that championship run is because he needed a new challenge. Felt like he needed to be pushed. It has helped. He says there's a lot of smart people surrounding him here at Joe Gibbs Racing, and he feels like he made the right decision. One thing he said he did learn watching the truck race last night, he learned that track position is critical, and if he's going to have to make any major adjustments on this race car, he better do it early. They just did in that last pit stop a pretty big wedge adjustment because the car was getting progressively looser.
And as quickly as we saw Suarez go by Allgaier and Larson, the gap is already a second. Now the 88 of Alex Bowman is getting by Kyle Larson. And so Larson has fallen back after starting up front.
Larson pushing Bowman down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I don't think Larson appreciated the 88 sliding up in front of him. He being the 88 of Alex Bowman, knew the 42 was running the top, went up there and climbed to close the door. I think you saw Larson's disappointment down the straightaway.
And no one has run right up against the wall yet. We know they're going to get there. We know they're going to be close, as we see Kyle Larson might be flirting with it now, but even Kyle Larson was about a foot, maybe foot and a half away from the wall, 2 feet. That's a long ways for him. We've seen him right up against the wall.
Well, that time in turn 3, he did enter right against the wall, and here you go. Now he started it. He's entering the corner right against the wall, and he's going to try to carry that all the way around. Going to ultimately get inches from that wall. And then on these long runs, I think that'll benefit him. But again, we did not see him have speed when the race started. We saw it as the run went on. So either that's what this car needs, or an adjustment they made during this pit stop wasn't the right way.
Marty, one of the championship 4 in Elliott Sadler has fallen all the way back to 10th. What's happening with the team?
Yeah, you know, and he talked about coming into the weekend about taking a bigger leadership role, and he's certainly giving a lot of feedback to the race team. He actually, Rick, was back in 11th a moment ago. Now has moved back up to 10th. But what he's saying is that I'm just struggling with right rear grip, just paying such a penalty with that right rear tire. He said, what we did tightened up the center of the corner, but it didn't help entry and exit. So some good leadership behind the wheel for Elliott Sadler. But Steve, you want that feedback, but you got to get this race car right if you're Mike Bumgarner, the crew chief, this weekend.
Yeah, you know, what makes Xfinity racing, in my opinion, more difficult than Sprint Cup is you have less chance at it. So as a crew chief, you're going to have to make bigger adjustments sooner, and if you go in the wrong direction or don't make a big enough adjustment, it's hard to catch up to your competitors if they went the right way early.
And again, Kevin Mindring, after he was suspended after last weekend, that puts all the pressure on Mike Bumgarner, the interim crew chief, coming into this championship race. And what a difficult task that has to be, knowing that they've come all this way with Kevin Mindring, and now Mike Bumgarner has to step in for the most important race of the season as they fight for a championship. And Elliott Sadler has moved up into the 9th spot. Everyone continues to chase Daniel Suarez out in front in Miami. Tomorrow it's Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers, the Packers face Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. Bob Costas and Dan Patrick host Football Night in America. That begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on NBC. 4 championship, 4 drivers, and where they are on the track. Currently first, Daniel Suarez. Allgaier running second. Eric Jones is 6th. Elliott Sadler 9th. Kelly.
I know we see these drivers starting to move up the racetrack. Well, Justin Allgaier knows all about the dangers of running up against the wall. He got into it in practice not once, twice, but 3 times yesterday. He said the first 2 were okay. It was the 3rd time hitting the wall that caused some damage to that 7 car. So the team had to work extra hard yesterday and today to get it put back together. In fact, they were late coming out to qualifying as they were still stuck in tech inspection. He had to roll straight onto the racetrack, still managed to qualify 6th. Later, thanking his team for all their efforts and apologizing for putting them behind the 8 ball a bit. But the good news, once they did get the car fixed, he felt like they had even better short run speed than what they had shown in practice. They had already been happy with their car over the long run. Right now, Justin Allgaier saying his entry's good, exit's good, just a little bit tight through the middle. Dave?
Kelly, since the race resumed, Eric Jones has made up no positions. Here was his latest feedback to the team.
Already losing rear grip. Like we just don't have anywhere near the speed we need. Like not even close. I can't do anything right now to go catch the 3.
Now the man charged with finding a solution is crew chief Chris Gabehart. It's his first year as a crew chief. He's a Purdue University graduate with a mechanical engineering degree. I'm hoping he took an elective course in psychology as well, because right now his 20-year-old championship hopeful is in a little bit of distress, both mechanically and I think mentally, guys.
Yeah, you can hear the distress in his voice. He knows all year long he's been able to go forward. He's been able to run and compete for wins, 4 of them already this year, and yet right now he's looking at somebody in front of him saying, I can't even catch this guy.
Yeah, and as we went and heard those updates, Jeff, you and I have been talking about some decisions that need to be made at the front of the field. Daniel Suarez has been driving maybe a couple feet, you see right there, a couple feet off the outside retaining wall versus the 7 of Justin Allgaier. It's not much. It's a foot or maybe 2. You see it right there, half a car width. But it seems like that 7 and the 42 of Kyle Larson are faster running up against the wall.
Yeah, but that half a car width, you saw what it did down the back straightaway. Allgaier was able to get a really big run on Suarez. What's interesting for Allgaier is he's running right against the wall and he starts to catch Suarez. His car's not going to handle as well. It's not going to be in the racetrack. The air is going to start getting taken off of that 7 car, and running right against the wall, he's going to be careful not to try to overdrive the corner entry or the middle. He's not going to have the grip that he had before he caught the 19.
I realize it's early, only 54 laps that we're on right now, but are you at all surprised that Justin Allgaier is looking as strong as he is right now, contending for the lead with Daniel Suarez?
I love it. I think he's pushing the issue. He's higher than the 19 because I think he feels he needs to be. Jason Burdett, Justin Allgaier all weekend long talked about how they didn't think they had the speed to come run with the Joe Gibbs cars. Well, I'm not sure if they just hit it right or that was a great message for the media, because the 7 has definitely showed it.
And we heard Kelly from the pit road a little while ago gave a report about yesterday. Allgaier got on the wall 3 times, and they did damage to the car. The first time, no big deal. Second time, kind of a scuff again. But the 3rd time, right here, it did damage. They had to come in and work on the car and fix it. But this was a commitment coming to this racetrack. We're going to use every bit of this racetrack. We need a little bit of speed. We need to do something different. We're willing to take this chance to try to win the championship. I love the game plan. I love the fact that immediately he's up against the wall.
Well, think about their owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's no one that loves the top more than maybe Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Larson. Well, Kyle Larson is in this race running 3rd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. perhaps could help Justin Allgaier, give him some insight on how to run the wall here at Miami.
But it's also accepting and understanding where you are. They have not had the speed that Suarez has had, throughout this chase. So come down here and do something different. Don't keep doing the same thing. Find a way to get an advantage. Take that chance. Take that risk. And that's what they're doing.
Justin Allgaier trying to complete a fantasy story. Started racing at the age of 5 in quarter midgets. Was able to win a championship in the ARCA Series in 2008 with a family-owned team. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2009 in the Xfinity Series. He doesn't have a win this season, but he's put himself in position to win a championship. He's part of the championship 4, and now trying to chase down that 19 of Daniel Suarez.
Think about the mental challenge. not just the physical aspect of driving a race car, but we're only 57 laps into this 200-lap race. Lap after lap after lap, running right against the wall. It has to be mentally taxing, Jeff.
Oh, it is, because you literally are on the edge of control. You have to set that car right against it, and you know if you make a mistake, you're gonna hit the wall. And tapping the wall, hey, no big deal. But you saw him on that third impact yesterday in practice. It did that damage. He can't hit the wall that hard. But on top of that, behind him is one of the best drivers in the world at running the high line, in Kyle Larson. So he's having to try to run Suarez down to get the lead, but also at the same time hold off Kyle Larson.
Well, yeah, right behind Kyle Larson, coming into frame right behind him is the 88 of Alex Bowman, another Junior Motorsports car. So all of the Junior Motorsports Chevys seem to have decent cars. They need that one of Elliott Sadler, get up there with their teammates. He's back at ninth. He's their other championship hopeful.
And I kind of feel like Suarez is holding everybody up just a little bit. I know they're not right on his bumper, but as I talked about, when you get behind, they're moving. I thought he was going to try to make a move underneath Allgaier, but when you get behind the leader, it slows you up. It takes air off your car. The 19, I think, is holding these guys up a little bit because Bowman has started running down. Ty Dillon has started running down as well.
So some of the traffic they're going to have to go by using that preferred line. We saw that time Suarez ducked below him.
Well, right there, the 19 of Daniel Suarez was leading the race, and he committed to the top. As you see, Kyle Larson goes all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Can he slide job him? Can he get in front of him?
Or is he going to leave the 7 lane?
He takes it right in front of the 7 of Justin Allgaier. That puts Kyle Larson now into second.
Allgaier's got to remain calm right here. Just understand the 42 made an aggressive move. Now he's going to try it back. 42 in the wall.
Yep, Kyle Larson gets into the wall.
Kyle Larson, I think Kyle Larson taught Allgaier something right there. He overdrove the entry. He passed it. Heck, he almost passed the 19 car. Watch, he's going to try to do it again. Overdrive the entry and then slide up in front of the car in front of him.
Battle for the lead. Allgaier on the inside, Suarez on the outside. Not able to get by him that time.
But he is close enough right now to try. Well, no, he's pulled away from him.
Here comes Alex Bowman. Bowman's going to try to go by Kyle Larson.
He needs to do the same thing. He needs to get in front, try to fill the hole. Right now, he needs to get up the banking in front of the 42.
Kyle Larson right up against the wall. Bowman not able to complete the pass. Doesn't get in front of Kyle Larson, as Larson will go right up against the wall again. Here comes Allgaier, looking to the inside of Suarez.
Quite far enough alongside of him. This reminds me of how you had to start to pass at Bristol. If we watch races at Bristol now, the guy that's following another guy has to overdrive the corner entry, slide up in front of him, then slow the car way up to keep from getting into the wall. And then the car that he just passed has a decision to make. Am I going to run into the back of him, or am I going to try to do a crossover pass to get back by him?
Again, Suarez has not got right up against the wall like the 3 competitors behind him. He stayed about 3 or 4 feet away from the wall on corner entry, and now Allgaier running just a line, almost a half a line below Suarez, trying to position himself to get by. But the gap now closed. It's under 0.2 of a second separating the top 2.
I really believe Allgaier's got the best car. I just think he needs to be a little more patient. He's trying this move right here. It's too early. There's nowhere to go. All he's doing is running the tires off the car. Wait until you get to him before you try to pass him. So as he enters turn 1 right here, he's too far away. He's got to get a good run off the corner, enter closer, and then make that move to the bottom. So what happens is when Allgaier pinches his car off on corner exit, it allows Suarez motor to run better, allows it to be a little bit freer on that corner exit. Then he's able to drive away. So Allgaier needs to be a little more patient, stay against that wall just like this, get the run off of turn 4, try to close by inches, car length, and then when you get to him, then make the move.
When you talk about being patient, what really started this whole mess is right here. We're on board with Daniel Suarez, and you see a lap car hard in an outside wall. That 13 car, when he gets in the wall, he was committed to the top. So now it kind of stacks everyone up, and then the 42 of Kyle Larson also got into the wall. And that's, I think, what happens. You talk about patience. Run behind him, try to force that car in front of you into making a mistake. That was a pretty hard shot for the 42. Looked like it might even have caught the front tire for a second.
Look how close. Yeah, look how close that is to the spoiler on the back.
The car was actually moving as it touches the wall, but we heard Tony Stewart give Elliott Sadler that advice. Hey, don't go right up against there early in the race. Don't push it. Don't don't damage your car, and that is a risk. We saw Suarez really loose off the corner. That is the risk, but the reward is so great, it's hard not to do it.
Daniel Suarez able to stay up front. Justin Allgaier continuing to run second here in Miami as Allgaier gets into the wall. The spotter coverage is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less on the track and on the road.
You know, we keep seeing these leaders running right up against the wall, Rick. These spotters are going to be very, very vital, because if you're running the top and you're catching a car that runs the bottom, that car running the bottom has to know that you need that outside lane, because we've seen the acceleration off the corner be so much higher for that car running the top. If these spotters aren't clear with that information, it's easy to pull up in front of a car running much faster than you, Jeff.
The spotters are so important, and the drivers and the spotters have so much trust between the two. They have to be on the same page. They have to have the same strategy. And then the spotter's got to be able to give the strategy to the driver when the strategy needs to change, and the driver needs to trust him.
As we were going to commercial break, Justin Allgaier was running second behind Daniel Suarez, but right as we went to break, Allgaier got into the wall. Might be doing it again live, but on the top screen you see into the wall. And that dropped him all the way back to fourth. He's been able to battle back to third, getting back by Kyle Larson.
And while we were in replay, the three of Ty Dillon got into the wall in front of the 7 of Justin Allgaier. That's how they swap positions.
Are we at Darlington?
This is the new Darlington, right? I was going to say, Darlington in 3 and 4, you have the option not to run the wall. Here in Miami, they're running the wall both ends of the racetrack.
And so again, Justin Allgaier right up against the wall. Slower traffic in front of him, so that takes his preferred line. He'll try to dive below.
Get a little bit of report that Justin Allgaier has complained that his car is tighter since he got into the wall. So arrow-wise, he may have done a little bit of damage.
Marty.
Meanwhile, back in the 10th position, Elliott Sadler being very patient and listening to Tony Stewart's advice. He's nowhere near that wall. He's a good lane below the wall every lap when he goes around here. He said the car, though, not driving anything like it did yesterday. tight in the center, way too free off the corners, the lowest of the chasers right now. But this has been the calling card for the one team all year long. They've kind of run mid-pack at times, and then they always seem to finish in the top 5, hoping they can pull it off once again. Another interesting scenario setting up. You hear the air gun going off in the background. Green flag pit stops coming up very quickly for these lead lap cars. We'll see if that affects the race as well.
Elliott Sadler is showing a tremendous amount of patience because we've seen Justin Allgaier get in the wall, Ty Dillon in the wall, Kyle Larson in the wall. So while Elliott Sadler, I'm sure, is not comfortable running 10th, not a scratch on the right side of this car yet.
And we're talking about green flag pit stops about to start. I hope these drivers practiced on yesterday getting on pit road. This is a very difficult pit road to get on. We've seen a lot of drivers make mistakes trying to get on and actually miss pit entrance. So I hope they practice this.
Allgaier is fighting to stay back in the second spot as he was able to take it away from Ty Dillon. So Suarez out in front, has about a second lead over Justin Allgaier, and we're about 50 laps from when they last were on pit road. Most were on lap 26, and so as we have completed the 75th lap, on lap 76 now, 50 laps on these tires, 50 laps of fuel, and they will be coming to pit road very soon.
And whoever comes to pit road first will have a large advantage, Rick, because these tires are now 2.5 seconds slower than when they were brand new. So if you can be the first car to put tires on, use that advantage of new tires. Daniel Suarez down to the bottom of the racetrack, passing that lap car.
And here comes the 3 of Ty Dillon looking to the inside, Justin Allgaier. And Allgaier once again is going to get stuck behind a slower car, has to go down the racetrack to get by.
And as we watch these leaders come by, the 42 of Kyle Larson peel off. He's the first car to pit road.
And you see that Kyle Larson has gotten into the wall. He has damage to the right side. Lettering rubbed completely off the right rear. Marty.
And Rick, this is going to bring everybody down pit road because, as Steve mentioned a moment ago, you gain a ton of time by putting on fresh tires here. Kyle Larson said after that contact with the car, or before the contact, the car was plowing. The rear tire changer slips as he comes around the race car. You see him go down one round on the track bar, trying to free that car up for Kyle Larson. And the wall contact, they say, not too bad.
Under 13 seconds for the pit stop. Blake Cook also on pit road now as green flag pit stops are underway. Question will be, as Ty Dillon has made his way onto pit road, when will race leader Suarez come to pit road? Dave?
His teammate Eric Jones in the 8th position brings a 20 car to pit road. He'll get 4 Goodyear tires and a load of Sunoco fuel. His complaint, this car is wrecking loose. Loosest we've been all season long. Crew Chief Chris Grabart promising a big swing. It'll be an air pressure and chassis adjustment, Marty.
Elliott Sadler said we've got to fix that tight in the center condition, so you're going to see a track bar adjustment here, maybe undoing what they just did a moment ago. That is indeed the case, undoing that one track bar adjustment where they tried to tighten up the race car. They're going to free it up a little bit, or tighten it up on the wedge side. On the left side, 4 fresh Goodyear tires for Elliott Sadler, comes out right behind Eric Jones, gaining a little bit of time, and a tire gets loose on pit road. That is behind the one pit stall. Do not believe that was from the one team.
More than likely, we're going to see a caution come out. It's right on pit road, and they won't allow anyone to come out to get that tire. At least NASCAR officials won't, as we see the 19 now of Suarez making his way onto pit road. That tire has gotten pretty close to the outside wall on pit road as Suarez makes the long trek all the way down to his pit stall number 1.
3, 2,
Rick, crew members for the 19 team emphatically pointing down pit road, alerting crew chief Scott Graves of the tire so that he can tell Daniel Suarez to avoid it coming down pit road. The car's been going from loose to tight, back to loose. They're going to address the loose condition with a wedge adjustment and 4 tires. Kelly?
Justin Allgaier has been tight through the middle and loose off throughout that run, but when he made contact with the wall, you see the right side damage. He said that the 7 car got even tighter. He said you guys might have to pull it out there a little bit. You see they're checking the clearance there on that right rear wheel, so they're going to make an adjustment to help him out with that tightness, and it's 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel for Justin Allgaier.
Allgaier coming off of pit road. That tire is still out there on pit road.
Well, NASCAR is going to let green flag cycle.
Right.
They don't want to throw a caution and interrupt the entire flow of the race. It's in a reasonably safe position and with an outside wall on this pit stall, unlike a Charlotte where it was laying in the grass. They perhaps may let a crew member go get it after pit stops are complete. But you see right here, Daniel Suarez is on the racetrack. That opportunity that they took to stay out a little bit longer in case there was a caution has cost them a lot of time on the racetrack. Currently 5.5, almost 6 seconds behind the 42 of Kyle Larson, who came to pit road early. We talked about how important new tires are going to be. Kyle Larson, first car to pit road, will take over the lead when a couple other cars pit.
And look what it cost the 7th car of Allgaier. He's going to be in 6th when all this shuffles out. He came in 2nd, and he's going to fall all the way back to 6th, and he's going to be probably 6 seconds, 6.5, 7 seconds back from the leader.
Kyle Larson has resumed the lead. Corey LaJoie still on the racetrack, has not come to pit road yet. Once he comes to pit road, that'll put Ty Dillon up to 2nd. Austin Dillon, the older brother to Ty, will be in 3rd. Daniel Suarez will be in 4th. You see the large gap between Kyle Larson and all the way back to Ty Dillon, who's running 2nd. A little over 1.5 seconds separating Kyle Larson as he's utilizing those fresh tires to run the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, the 20 of Eric Jones, kind of the struggle continues a little bit for this team. The Jackman slips coming around the car. Very nice recovery. You see right here, to go down, that's 25, 30, 35-pound Jack. He carries it in one hand like it's nothing. It just shows the athleticism.
Once again, Kyle Larson out front. Suarez has led 66 laps. Kyle Larson 11 and counting in front of Miami. And after all the green flag pit stops have cycled through, the caution has come out, and NASCAR will now make the 33 team, member of the 33 team, go out and retrieve that tire and wheel that has rolled all the way out to the outside of pit road wall. Again, welcome back to the Ford EcoBoost 300. Kyle Larson had a 1.5 second lead over Ty Dillon. Austin Dillon was running 3rd. Daniel Suarez has dropped all the way back to 4th. Then it's Justin Allgaier in 5th. Again, in the championship 4 standings, it's Suarez in front of Allgaier. And again, it is whichever driver in the championship 4 is in front of the other 3, they will be the champion when the checkered flag flies.
And this is decision time also. You're limited in the number of tires that you get in the Xfinity Series, but you just ran several laps. Who's going to stay out? Who's going to pit? If I'm Elliott Sadler, I might do whatever everybody else doesn't do because they haven't had the speed. They haven't been running great. So is this an opportunity to play a little bit of strategy that could help you with your track position?
Well, Black Friday has a special holiday rivalry on ice. It's the Rangers. They head to Philadelphia for a matchup against the Flyers. The Discover NHL Thanksgiving Showdown. That's Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern on NBC. So with this caution coming out, will someone come to pit road? Or what reason would they come to pit road?
Because tires are worth a lot. And you look at Elliott Sadler was last on pit road 11 laps ago. So the real question is, how many other cautions do you expect there to be? The team started with 1 set of tires on the car, 5 sets in the pit. So basically you have 5 new sets of tires to run this race. All of these lead cars have put on 2. So they have 3 sets left. We're basically at halfway. So if the last 100 laps break up even, you're all set. But if they don't, you could be short a set of tires. The one advantage Elliott Sadler would have if he comes right now is he could re-glue or reinstall lug nuts on that 10-lap set and let them cool down. They'd still be better than hot, slimy tires. But at some point, what we don't understand is Elliott Sadler 10th because he's conservative, or is he 10th, Marty, because that's as good as this car will run?
Well, and that's the debate right now on the radio because they're talking about having 3 sets of tires left, and if you divide that up, clearly you could run about 36 laps or so and be fine. And that's the debate. Do we be aggressive or whatever? Elliott just said on the radio a moment ago, I'm fine with doing whatever you guys want to do. If you want to be aggressive, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's come down pit road. So somewhere Kevin Vandering's making a call on a digital radio and relaying that to Mike Bumgarner as to what they do here, but they may come down pit road here on that one car.
Yeah, another factor is there's only 15 cars in the lead lap, Marty. So if you make the call to come down pit road and other people don't pit with you, he's running 10th now. The worst he's going to come out is 15th.
And to be the opposite, if for some reason the 42 comes to pit road right here, I absolutely stay on the racetrack if I'm Elliott Sadler and save a set of tires.
We'll see what the decision is. And the first one to even look at pit road.
They continue to play it safe.
Moved out of line. It looked like it could have been the 88. The 22 is the first one to come on to pit road. That is Ryan Blaney. None of the championship 4 made the move onto pit road. We'll take a quick break and be right back for the restart. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less on the track and on the road. Of Gorgeous shots. Homestead-Miami Speedway. Our aerial coverage provided by our partners at Smithfield Foods. Beautiful facility, 2 lakes inside the infield. Here, this mile-and-a-half racetrack has been recovered. Pit road still open. Again, it was Ryan Blaney who led a few cars onto pit road on lap 91. Blaney, Almirola, Brennan Poole, and Reed all came to pit road.
Yeah, that 22 of Ryan Blaney came to pit road for just chassis adjustments. They did not change tires, but now Brennan Poole and Ryan Reed, it looked to me like they put new tires on. So, you know, we talked about the opportunity to make some strategy calls. I think some of the cars farther back are going to do that at this point. Although I do like the fact, we talked about Elliott Sadler had that opportunity, but I like the fact that they stayed on the track. With 107 laps to go, I don't think it's a time in the race where you can get a set of tires down to the leaders.
Let's take a look at the restarts for the 20 of Eric Jones. He's been struggling on the track. At least that's what he's telling his team.
He has been. He's been on the inside about every restart, so that's hurt him. See the initial start of the race, got into the back of the one car, and when he did that, it slowed their momentum down. He lost several spots with cars working the outside and being able to carry speed to the straightaway.
Yeah, then on the subsequent restart, he got a good run on the 2 of Austin Dillon, went to the bottom of the racetrack, but while that helps your corner entry speed, it's very difficult to carry that speed on corner exit. You see the 2 easily carries that momentum past him. The 11 of Blake Cook goes by him. So the bottom has not been a good place for this 20 of Eric Jones.
And on the most recent restart, once again, all the way down the bottom of the racetrack, and you know, behind the one car once again, but these cars on the outside are just motoring by him. So he's really needing to get on the outside, but on this restart, he should be on the outside. He's in 8th position. This should be the first time he has restarted on the outside.
Marty.
Rick, perhaps the first indication that Kevin Mandring not being here for Elliott Sadler might be hurting this one team. Take a listen to the communication on the radio about whether to pit or not.
Yeah, 10-4, taking 1 main here. All right, am I pitting or not? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Just gotta work on our communication here as we go. I got the code for something else and then was told something else. So you guys just, I know it's tough. Let's just keep working at it. Work on our communication. Use channel 2 as much as you have to with the spotter. Good with that.
And they basically told Elliott, said, hey, listen, that call came when we were at the cone. We got to call it quicker. He said, I'm not mad or anything. This was Elliott saying this to Mike Bumgarner, but we got to work on that communication. The first thing I need to know, am I pitting or not? Don't worry about the code words. And then Mike Bumgarner said, listen, we're going to drop the code words for the rest of the day. We're going old school. I don't want this to cost us this afternoon, Kelly.
Marty, there was a little bit of drama on pit road. The 52 car of Joey Gase came down pit road, opened up the hood, and there were open flames there. As you can see, the carburetor had been misfiring, then caught fire. You see the use of the fire extinguisher there to put it out. They've since pushed that car off pit road, but now we've got members from the 17 working to clean up that pit stall. The reason is that Justin Allgaier's pit stall is right next door, so he will be driving through that pit box to make his next stop. So his team working hard to clean up that mess from that fire for the 52.
Well, we showed that struggle for Eric Jones on the restarts being on the bottom. Well, now when you look at this restart right here, the only one of our Chase 4 that's starting on the bottom is the 7 of Justin Allgaier back in row 3, and these are on old tires, Jeff.
That's right. These old tires will make the restart more difficult. It'll also make getting into turn 1 more difficult.
Alex Bowman, not a good restart. 3rd car back on the outside. Here comes Justin Allgaier taking advantage of it.
Justin did a nice job. He went to the bottom, the 2 blocked, and I think that was better off for the 7 because now he got up the racetrack, got out of that bottom lane, and look how that's going to help him on corner exit.
And how about Eric Jones? He finally got a restart on the outside, and the guy in front of him didn't get going at all. So he's still in 8th place, but that was not advantage to Eric Jones. He was thinking he could pick some spots up and only stayed neutral.
Our camera shot there looking back on the exit of turn 2. Just the opposite of what these drivers are seeing. Now they are looking into the sun when they come out of turn 4 as they get ready to enter turn 1.
Big block right there by the 3 of Ty Dillon.
Dillon has made his way out front. Kyle Larson fallen all the way back to 2nd after having a good lead. But Ty Dillon with a great run has put himself in front. Now it's Daniel Suarez and Justin Allgaier all the way to the bottom of the racetrack trying to fight for 2nd. There's the sun they have to deal with coming out of 4.
This is a problem till about right now. Now it goes away. So unlike Phoenix last week where you couldn't see getting into turn 1, here it's more of coming off of turn 4.
Allgaier down to the bottom of the racetrack again, trying to get by Kyle Larson. Larson staying up against the wall. Allgaier dives to the bottom of the racetrack. Larson stays up high. Allgaier has him cleared, but the momentum of the 42 might not allow him to get all the way up to the wall. He does, though, and clears him for 3rd.
Yeah, and that bright blue car behind Kyle Larson, that's the 98 of Eric Almirola. He's up to 5th. He came and got new tires. We talked about how great new tires felt. Well, this 98 car is driven right up into the top 5 trying to use those new Goodyear tires.
Allgaier made that move to get in front of Larson, then down the front straightaway, turned left and gave him the outside. Not really sure why he did that.
Going to do it again. Allgaier all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. And Kyle Larson still running that very high line, not up against the wall yet, but pretty close.
Well, and that's the thing. It seems like the bottom is definitely better for a few laps, even on these older tires, Jeff, and then the top gets better. It really comes down to who commits to the top first and gets it to work.
Looking to the outside. Ty Dillon was out front, but a big run once again for Daniel Suarez as Suarez fights for the lead on the outside.
Time and time again, this 19 of Daniel Suarez, they've lost some spots in the pits, lost some spots on the restart, but he continues to fight back to the front and shows while he is the most dominant of the 4 championship cars so far in this race.
The 32 races leading up to this one, the championship race, everyone gets a bonus point for leading up front, not the championship 4 in this race. As we look at the one of Elliott Sadler getting bounced around, that was the restart.
Because of all that, he's fallen all the way back to 13. So right here, they're 3 wide, really nowhere to go.
Inside.
And the 62 pulls
outside,
up.
22, outside,
22 goes
outside,
around.
outside.
Tough spot. And listen, I know.
And 20 of Eric Jones just into the wall.
Go inside there.
So Eric Jones' struggles continue.
I am really surprised Eric Jones is running where he's run all day. I thought he would charge to the front and have a shot at leading this thing, but he is, even with the trouble on the restarts, when he gets back there in 8th, 9th, and that's about the best he can do right now. After that trouble, he's fallen back to 11th.
It's Eric Jones' teammate, Daniel Suarez, who has been dominant in this race as they pass the halfway point. Mike.
And he's been dominant despite the adversity that Steve just alluded to not too long ago. And it doesn't surprise anybody in this 19 camp. In fact, as crew chief Scott Graves told me this morning, he said, perhaps our best strength all year has been the demeanor of our driver. He's been so calm under pressure. It's helped us stand out on many occasions, which doesn't surprise him, knowing the car is not exactly perfect right now, but the driver's pretty poised. Let's listen in.
Yeah, everyone was probably a good second off with a green flag stop compared to a restart with a clean track. Yeah, therefore, we just have to keep it the game and or minding the game and try something different because definitely that wasn't good, very bad actually.
And Scott Graves has assured him they will continue to work on that race car. Meanwhile, his spotter, Chris Osborne, telling him to go 100%, but not beyond that, Dave.
Mike, the opposite demeanor. His teammate, Eric Jones, he really could have used that pit stop. Listen.
We're just all over the place, tight, loose. All we've done is just tighten up the front. We didn't keep it turning. We just tightened up the front. We haven't really done anything for the back. Copy that. Your fire-off laps were faster than anybody. Dig down here.
Now, he hit the wall just a couple of laps ago. He shouted on the radio that the car was just slow, and he was asked to calm down. He has to pull it together. He's just 20 years old. He is a NASCAR champion, but he's got to find a way to handle that race car until the crew figures out how to make an adjustment to make it better.
And remember, he has to get it all together because next year he races in the Cup Series. He'll race against the best in the sport as a teammate to Martin Truex Jr. Daniel Suarez out in front. He's led over 70 laps today in Miami as he looks for his first ever championship in NASCAR, and he's getting closer every lap. Welcome back to the Ford EcoBoost 300 from Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Xfinity Series championship race. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship will be decided on NBC. Race coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Joey Logano all fighting for the title. Battle for the lead here between Suarez and Ty Dillon. And a name we haven't mentioned much coming into the picture is Eric Almirola. Almirola about a second and a half back, and the reason he's even where he is because of the pit strategy that he has employed, Steve.
Yeah, on that last caution, the 98 decided to come get 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and he restarted 13th on lap 95. And here at lap 111, he's driven all the way up to the 3rd position. As we see the 3 look under the 19 again, I'm not sure that's going to work being that far back. But what that 98 does is I think that just brings the intensity on top of the pit boxes even higher. If we have long green flag runs, not a big deal. But if we have a bunch of 10 or 15 lap stints to finish this race out, on what caution these crew chiefs decide to put tires on could easily determine the winner and the champion.
And the 98 car of Almirola, that's the car you can watch and try to figure out if Elliott Sadler should have pitted or not. Because they were running about in the same spot. Elliott Sadler now is back in 14th. Almirola's in 3rd. So right now it looks really smart, like Almirola and this team did a great job. But as Steve mentioned, if you get those cautions and you don't have tires to put on late in the race, although it looks great now, it could really, really cost you later.
Mike.
Well, Rick, just to give you an idea how special this race is for Daniel Suarez, he has plenty of guests here from Mexico, including his mother, Rosalina. She's up on top of the pit box. His father, Alejandro, a little bit too nervous. He's watching from the grandstands, but there are more than 30 people here supporting Daniel Suarez. As you can see, Ty Dillon now making a bid for the lead. He draws even with Suarez. A big support from his crowd, all looking at our monitor right now as this battle for the lead goes on. But there are 30 people here. One guy who's not here, who was expected, Adrian Fernandez. That is Daniel Suarez, racing idol. He was supposed to be here today, but couldn't be. He texted Daniel this morning to apologize. I asked Daniel exactly what that text said. Daniel said, I don't know, I didn't see it. I've turned my phone off this week. It's too much of a distraction. I don't want any of that. Right now his focus on winning this championship. Right now, he's trailing the leader, Ty Dillon, by about 4 car lengths, but still leading the championship battle at this point, Rick.
Yeah, Mike, he's got to look at big picture. I mean, Ty Dillon goes by. If he races Ty Dillon and maybe wears his equipment out a little bit, that will then jeopardize the fact that he's in front of Justin Allgaier. That's who he's racing right now for the big picture, the title, the championship in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, how about Ty Dillon? You know, the Ty Dillon and his team, they have not had the year that they wanted to have by any means. Haven't shown the speed, really, that you expected from an RCR Xfinity team, but having a really good run today.
Let's listen into some Liberty Mutual spotter communication from the 17.
Let me know when I need to start moving around. You're good, buddy. You're over at 10 fast, everything in your mirror. Leader ran at 80, you ran at 90. They're still catching him. Just keep hitting your marks. All right, before you pass the lap car, I'll let you know your lap times here. You ran over between the 7 and a 90, then you ran a flat, then you passed the lap car and lost a couple tenths. You ran a 22, leader ran a flat.
A lot of information there. That was spotter coverage presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less. And again, the spotters up at the top of the grandstands, press box here, giving information and insight to these drivers. Is now Ty Dillon out front. Suarez still leading in the championship 4. you could win one of the cars we race. Go to NASCAR.com/chase promo now and enter for a chance to win a new Chevy, Ford, or Toyota. Welcome back to the Ford EcoBoost 300. Dave.
Rick, we've documented the poor handling of the 20 car. A few laps ago, crew chief Chris Gabehart called about 4 of the team members up on top of the pit box and instructed them in what he needed them to do. They went behind the fence here on pit road and cut a piece of fabric type material. Actually, it's pretty hard stuff to fit to the front of that Toyota Camry. And speaking of the word Camry, just to the left of the C there's a hole they want to patch. And crew chief Gabehart believes that this is part of the big problem for his handling tonight. They told him on the radio.
Yeah, keep tuning it up, Lambert. I'm working on fixing damage down here. We got a hole in the nose. I haven't left you, bud. We're working on fixing a hole in the nose down here. These lap times are really good. Doing great.
Hopefully that can settle the driver, guys, until they make that fix, but they need a caution to do it.
That first communication was from the crew chief to Lambert, who's the spotter. Then that second communication was from Lambert to Eric Jones saying, okay, look, you got a hole in the nose. And the reason that's important is because, look, we have a problem. We're still in this. We're going to fix this, and you're going to be in good shape. So I think that was really important to let Eric Jones know that there was a problem.
Caution has come out. You see a little more damage on the right side of the 7. The reason for the caution, the 48. So Brennan Poole looks like he has a right front tire down and maybe even a right rear down. And the right side of that car is flattened. He was running 13th.
Obviously had a tire going down, had a problem. It's all the way on the bottom of the racetrack going slow. And a little bit earlier than that, the 7 car again in the wall. He had run the 19 down. They'd gotten really close to about 2 car lengths away, but entering turn 1, got into the wall again.
Early, like turning off into the corner, Jeff.
And that's what I talked about. The closer you get to the car that's in front of you, on corner entry especially, it changes the way your car drives. So if you drive the car into the corner the same way you did when you weren't that close, your car's not in the racetrack anymore. It's easy to get into the wall.
Behind you, keep rolling, eyes out front.
And remember, they're going 150 miles an hour when they're right up against the wall and turning into those turns. Let's listen into the radio.
You ain't gonna win a championship like that. I gotta quit that. Yeah, you'll be fine, man. Goal's right up there in front of you.
And I think that's what, Justin Allgaier shows his frustration because he doesn't want to hit the wall. But TJ Majors, the spotter, calm as ice. Listen, it's okay. Stick with your goal. Like you said, Jeff, I think never more clear than right there about this 7. This was their approach. They've run the tops at the start of practice, and they're still committed to it even with 2 or 3 times in the wall during the race.
Now with 75 laps to go, we know the teams will be on their way to pit road here. Will they have enough tires? They can at least come to pit road this time and one more for another set of tires and have 4 fresh tires for each stop if they need to?
Well, the leaders have 3 sets of tires. It's the teams that decided to pit, like Eric Almirola, who only has 2 sets of tires. But at this point, he has to pit, put on his next to last set. So I think right now it's an easy decision for everybody to come to pit road, put on 4 Goodyear tires, make chassis adjustments. Eric Jones perhaps will patch the hole in the nose. Kelly?
Justin Allgaier making his way down in that 7. He said he is tight on entry, which is why he keeps getting into the wall, but he's also tight in the middle and free on exit. So he said, don't loosen me up too much or I'll be in trouble on exit. You did see a chassis adjustment there. It's also 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Dave.
They'll make chassis adjustments for Eric Jones this time, and they've got the patch ready to go on, as he'll also take 4 Goodyear tires and a fill of Sunoco fuel.
Elliott Sadler comes in running 12th. He said, I'm loose in and off the corners, but I'm too tight in the middle. Needed to turn better there. He said, I know that's a lot to fix, but we've got to do it. 4 Goodyear tires, an air pressure adjustment, and a long stop, Mike.
Daniel Suarez already completed his stop. 4 tires there and a track bar adjustment. They tried to tighten them up. They talked a little bit about the way they are. Specifically, very strong on short runs. Right now, need more work and more grip on the long runs, guys.
Number 1 pit stall worked very well for Daniel Suarez. He gains a spot. He'll take over the lead from Ty Dillon, and the work's still taking place on the 20. Dave?
So what they're doing now is fixing it well, making sure that it's not going to fly right back off. He was 10th on the grid when he came into the pits. There were only 17 cars on the lead lap, so that's about the amount of space he'll lose, Rick.
So they're spending the extra time to make sure they are going to be good for the finish of this race.
This is an all-access zone.
Still there in the middle. Quarter. Still there.
We're going to hear from their spotters, from the crew chiefs.
Clear, clear, clear.
All the communication that the drivers hear, you're going to have the opportunity to hear that throughout the day.
Bring it home, champ. We did it, guys. Yeah! You guys are awesome!
We'll be celebrating, and will you watch? You can get closer to the Championship 4 with Hot Pass on the NBC Sports app. Get play-by-play coverage, dedicated feed, multiple camera angles around Johnson, Busch, Logano, and Edwards. That coverage starts tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. You can find out more at NBCSports.com/live. And welcome back to the Xfinity Series Ford EcoBoost 300. Sun setting on the 2016 season, and Eric Jones has had a difficult go of it. Take a look at what happened and how he got that damage.
Trying to get out of 16. Just a little bit of contact, and there's that damage. They spent a lot of time on pit road trying to get it fixed. Looks like they got it fixed.
Dave.
And Rick now trying to give the driver reassurance that they've got a shot.
So we had a pretty good sized hole in the grill or in the nose there. We think we got a patched up line. I think we're good to go here in terms of patchwork. So
You thank the 16 for that.
it's all good. It only ends up costing us about 6 spots from where we were. It's not terrible. 72 to go this time right here. Plenty of time yet.
Just a reminder, the championship goes to the driver among the 4 who finishes ahead of the other 3. Eric Jones still has a chance at this, guys.
Well, I agree with the plenty of time because, as you just mentioned, Rick, the sun is setting.
Yeah.
Lights are coming on, and this track will change just like most tracks do when the sun goes down. What driver? We've seen Daniel Suarez be so dominant so far in this race, leading a race high 83 laps, but with 71 laps to go, who made adjustments on this pit stop? And we're going to have at least one more pit stop, maybe 2, depending on cautions. So who continues to adjust to the changing track conditions as the track cools?
And that's been the strength of this one car all year long. We talked about it when we came on the air, is that Elliott Sadler and his team, they don't typically run in the front, but they find their way to the front. Today, they've had an average running position of about 9.5. Remember, back in Charlotte, they had an average running position of 9th and finished 2nd. But at Kentucky, their average running position was 8th, and they won that race. So this race so far, although they haven't looked spectacular, is pretty much the way their year has gone.
And Jeff, if the 1 is going to make a run to the front, they need to do it now. They're restart 8 after gaining a couple of spots here on pit road. They made big adjustments on the race car too. Elliott saying it was too free on that last run, in and off the corner, round and a half in the left rear. It's a big swing at it, trying to tighten up the race car. Also an air pressure adjustment. And hey, what did Elliott Sadler tell us all day long? When he went to the very top of the racetrack, that's when he was getting in the ball game in a serious way. Guess what he did at the end of that last run? Went to the top of the racetrack. So I think Elliott Sadler's going to see what he's got right here and if he can challenge those leaders and try and win a championship.
4 cars took the wave around. You can gear up with the pit crew, get the latest NASCAR t-shirts, hats, and die-casts at the NASCAR.com Superstore. Visit NASCAR.com/Superstore today for all your favorite drivers' gear. Gorgeous shot of the sun as it's setting now on the Homestead-Miami Speedway area. And 2x2, the field once again. Suarez and Ty Dillon making up the front row. Justin Allgaier, Alex Bowman in row 2. 2 championship contenders separated by just 1 row. Got to look a little bit further back until you get to Elliott Sadler. He's back in row 4. Eric Jones all the way back in row 8. Coming back into the restart zone. Suarez on the outside, Dillon on the inside. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for the 7 of Justin Allgaier, looking to get up to the back bumper of the 19 of Suarez. So close between the 3 and the 7. Allgaier forging to the front. He gets by the 3 of Ty Dillon. What a run Justin Allgaier is having. NASCAR's taking a look at the restart. It's under review. That's normal. As they're 3 wide. Coming back on the front stretch.
Further behind them, Elliott Sadler. We've been talking about him. He had a really good restart. Now he's battling on the outside of the 98, trying to get to 5th position. 4th position, they're battling for 5th.
Allgaier right in the tire tracks of Daniel Suarez.
Rick, you mentioned, or excuse me, Jeff, you mentioned it. It was time for Elliott Sadler, this one, to start moving, trying to make his car better. Here he is up in the 4th position.
And the 86, that's Brandon Brown, changed lanes before he got to the start-finish line on that restart. You cannot do that. That's what NASCAR was looking at. So they're posting the 86 for changing lanes before he got to the start-finish line. A great battle up front. Daniel Suarez. Now just 67 laps to go. Justin Allgaier. 2 drivers fighting for a championship. In this format, it's only been run by the Sprint Cup Series for the past 2 years, but it's taken a win to win the championship. And it looks as though it may be the same way in the Xfinity Series tonight. For Justin Allgaier, he has gone winless in the 2016 campaign. Only 3 career wins in the Xfinity Series, but he is giving chase right now for the 19 of Daniel Suarez. Kelly?
And this 17 feels like if they can just get to that 19, they have the better car. The last time Justin Allgaier was fighting for a championship, back in 2008 in the ARCA Series with his family-owned team on a limited budget. The other 2 teams ahead of him wrecked each other, and he took the championship. He told me that was a defining moment for him in his career, but he's had another championship that he kind of felt like got away, as you see Ty Dillon trying to make a move on Justin. Back in 2010, while racing for Team Penske here in the Xfinity Series, he finished 4th in points, but that's when Cup drivers were still allowed to collect points in both series, so he lost that championship to 3 Cup regulars, Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, and Kyle Busch. You know he would love to get this championship here today and put those memories to rest.
Absolutely, as the one of Elliott Sadler has made the move into the top 5, currently running 4th. 3 of the 4 championship Ford drivers up front, and we've got a problem with Ryan Reed. He's got a tire down.
Ryan Reed got in the wall in the middle of 3 and 4.
And around he's going to go. And a big hit behind him. The 46 and 51 make contact. Jordan Anderson in the 46. Fire under the hood now. Jordan Anderson got into Jeremy Clements in the 51, and Anderson trying to get out of that car.
He's out. Car's on fire from theater.
So for the 5th time tonight, the caution has come out. It was Ryan Reed who had a tire going down and was trying to get to the inside of the track to get down to the apron. And you see the field is going to be stopped behind this incident on the track.
Yeah, this all started in the middle of 3 and 4. The 16 car is in the wall, and behind him was this battle, this huge battle with Eric Jones, Kyle Larson, Matt Tiff. They were all right behind him when this was going on, and you can see Larson just barely gets by. And as he's got a tire down now, and he's just all over the racetrack. Riding along with Blaney. He's getting in the wall. But watch this action that happened all around this.
Clear back, clear low, clear low, clear low, clear low. Come on, come low. Keep coming low. Outside corner clear, all clear. Everything's rolling.
Yeah, so that was on the front stretch, and then this here was the 16 car on the back stretch trying to get back around to get to pit road, loses control because of that flat tire. And behind him, some heavy contact, Rick.
Yeah, the 46 of Jordan Anderson didn't look like he saw the 51 slowing down and got underneath the 51, lifted him off the ground. We saw the 51 get up in the air. And then the flames from underneath the hood.
Most likely that's fuel that was going to the carburetor and
Exactly.
just burning that fuel off. Still probably still pumping fuel to the carburetor and just feeding the fire. Ultimately, the engine shuts off and doesn't feed the fire anymore.
It took a while for Jordan Anderson to climb out of that car, but once he did, safety crews to him immediately as they were able to put the fire out. But take a look at this. 51 off the ground. Jordan Anderson wasn't expecting Jeremy Clements to check up as much, apparently, as he was trying to find a line to get by him. And so the 5th time now the caution has come out.
Big impact. He just, like you said, he just did not see the accident, did not see what was going on, and wasn't able to get slowed down in time.
That was behind all of the championship 4, so they were not affected. Suarez still out front, Allgaier 2nd, Elliott Sadler is 4th, and Eric Jones is 9th. Now, frustrated Eric Jones for most of this race hasn't been running in the top 10, but now back into the top 10, running 9th. Maybe sees a little bit of life in the championship hopes.
And Jeff, you and I were watching Eric Jones in that battle, as you talked about, 2 and 3 wide, but it seems like the 20 car had a little bit improved handling. Yes. He was able to be a little bit more on the offensive, not always running on the defensive. It's just going to have to take time, and unfortunately there's only 63 laps to go, so I think it's a matter of time. We're not going to be sure how much this repair on the 20 has fixed him until he gets up into that top 5 to really be able to measure the speed, but definitely improved over the previous run.
And guess where he gets a restart again? On the bottom.
His favorite spot.
And, you know, that's really been a disadvantage today. Being on the bottom of the racetrack has not worked at all. So they have not run well, but they've also not got any breaks as far as where they could be on the restart. Look at Elliott Sadler right now. We keep talking about him running back there in 10th place, 11th place, 8th place. Now he's going to get to restart in 4th position on that outside.
It's been 11 laps since they were on pit road. 63 to go. They wouldn't be able to make it all the way from here. Things definitely heating up as far as the championship 4 go. Looking for a title. Just over 4 minutes for the red flag as the field rolling once again in the Ford EcoBoost 300. Pit road is open right away, so will anyone take advantage of this?
Well, this is going to be a tough decision for the leaders. It's right on the outside of the fuel window, only 6 laps on the tires. I expect the field to split. Some cars to come to pit road, but some in the back half are going to stay out. This is going to be the splitting strategy we talked about.
Kelly, here they come.
Justin Allgaier's been dealing with a race car that's been a little bit tight through the center, but loose on exit. And he said it fired up quite a bit tighter that last time around at fuel only for the 7.
The 20 wants more rear grip. Eric Jones called for it. He'll get 4 tires this time and an adjustment. Marty?
They told Elliott Sadler welcome to the party when he got up into the top 5. They saw that the 7 took fuel only, but they're going to go with 4 fresh Goodyear tires. He said the adjustment definitely helped that race car, Mike.
Daniel Suarez going with a 2-tire change. Right side's only there. Very quick stop. Track position key as Scott Graves makes that call.
And it was a close call coming off of pit road between Suarez and Ty Dillon. Championship still in the balance. Suarez out in front of the field. And welcome back to Miami as the laps continue to wind down, under 60 to go. Let's take a look at this week's Ford Drive to the Championship and where the Championship 4 currently stand. Daniel Suarez is second, Justin Allgaier fourth, Elliott Sadler sixth, and Eric Jones 10th. So a lot of drivers came to pit road. Eric Almirola stayed out. And so right now Eric Almirola is being scored as the race leader. Daniel Suarez will restart on the outside, more likely of the front row or inside, whichever Almirola chooses. Mike.
You know, Rick, sometimes things happen so quickly down on pit road, it just takes you by surprise. He didn't take right sides only. He didn't take anything at all as far as tires go. Fuel only, that was the call by Scott Graves. It was an audible very late. In fact, it even took Daniel by surprise. He wasn't expecting that either, but as we mentioned, track position key, and that's what Scott Graves was thinking on that very aggressive pit call, fuel only.
So really, the situation we have right now, Rick, is there's 60 laps to go. There's been a lot of different adjustments, a lot of situations, but now it comes down to the Xfinity Series tire rule. Daniel Suarez running in second has 2 sets of tires in the pits with 60 laps to go. Behind him in the 4th position, the 7 of Justin Allgaier also has 2 sets of brand new Goodyear tires in the pits. But then if you go behind him, Elliott Sadler made a great recovery, has worked on his car, has improved it, but he just put a set of tires on, therefore he has 1 set of tires in his pit. And if you go behind him, Eric Jones, patch the nose, he also has 1 set of tires in his pits. So how many cautions comes out is really what these crew chiefs are gambling on. The ones that put tires on now don't think they're going to be more cautions. The ones up front are gambling on cautions. And then our owner championship, the 22 of Ryan Blaney, his car has really not been handling well all day long. He's done a nice job keeping it out of the wall, keeping the car in one position. He also put tires on. So if there aren't a lot of cautions, this could be the run that the 22 need. Thinks about the 22 possibly winning an owner championship without winning a race. This car is so used to winning races, it really has been off all year long. Ryan Blaney doing a nice job staying calm behind the wheel though, Jeff, and really just keeping it out of the fence, keeping it in one piece.
And the one consideration is, what if we don't get any cautions? Right? What if
what
if it goes caution free? Well, they all stopped except for Almirola. They all stopped to put fuel on. So they all have fuel. But
can they make it?
With no caution. But think about this, with no caution, Elliott Sadler has 4 tires and fuel. So he's going to be going faster right now. They're going to have to save some fuel to try to make it. But with no cautions, advantage Elliott Sadler. If the caution comes out early, say 20 laps in this run, a huge disadvantage to Elliott Sadler and Eric Jones.
Marty.
As you guys mentioned, Elliott Sadler, the first car on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Here's a little pep talk from the Virginia veteran driver.
In form. Hey guys, no matter what happens here, no matter how the cautions fall, I'm with you. There's a good pit stop. I think that's good strategy. We're in good position here. So no matter what happens from here on out, I'm with you 100%. It's a good call. It's a great pit stop, guys, and we're going to stay after it here.
10-4, just save all you can here.
A little confidence from the driver, and the key there from Mike Bumgarner, save all you can. They may be planning a full fuel run here to the end, Dave.
And Marty, the 20 of Eric Jones has 1 set of fresh tires remaining behind the wall. And then, Steve, you always look for that 1 set you could use just in case. It's a set that just came off the car. They're re-gluing the 6-lap set that he just ran.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. You that set of tires is still available. They have 6 laps on them, so they're better than whatever hot, old, used tires would be on the car. But really, what Elliott Sadler needs right here, 25, 30-lap run, split this up in the middle, then a caution won't hurt him. He still has 1 set of tires. He'll be fine. What he can't have is a 15-lap run. A 15, 16, 18-lap run, it's going to be decision time. Can he afford to put his last set of tires on?
Well, he's still okay if he gets that. It's just the next one. If he gets the one after that is where the problem will come in.
I'm already stressing for the crew chief on the 15-lap one. I don't want that one for poor Mike Bumgarner, the interim crew chief, to have to make that decision.
Historically, the final green flag stretch here has been 16 laps or less, all but 2 of the last 12 races at this racetrack. Almirola and Suarez making up row 1. Almirola has chosen the inside line. Suarez will restart on the outside. That could be an advantage for Daniel Suarez, as that's been the preferred line on a little older tires. Three and 4 wide as they go into turn number 1. Here comes Elliott Sadler on the high side.
Right behind you.
Allgaier stays in front of Elliott Sadler as they go down the backstretch. Suarez out front. Allgaier running second, Sadler in third. And here comes Eric Jones on the high side. All four of the championship four inside the top five.
Their leader, the 19. Everybody.
The three of Ty Dillon trying to come down or up the racetrack right in front of Eric Jones. He had to check up.
I think right now, Elliott Sadler and Eric Jones, they need to take advantage of these tires for sure. They need to try to get to the lead, take advantage of them. But if they can get to the lead, then save. Try to take care of those tires. But right now, I think you got to push.
1, 2, 3, 4. The championship four all running in the top four. And again, it's determined by who's out front.
I'm impressed with Justin Allgaier, though. I didn't know he could hold off Elliott Sadler even this long on those older tires. Doing a nice job, Jeff.
Going to use that top lane. Don't give Elliott Sadler that outside lane. Make him pass you on the bottom.
They head into 3. Here comes Allgaier, going to the outside, trying to get by Suarez.
How about the top four racing each other?
All for the championship, and they have separated themselves. The championship four, 1 through 4.
All within a half a second, Rick. 1st through 4, within a half a second on the racetrack. That 7 of Justin Allgaier is doing a nice job moving up the racetrack. Look at the momentum. It carries down the backstretch.
That gave the 20 a big run when the 1 got blocked by the 7.
A dejected Eric Jones midway through this race couldn't figure out how to get past guys running for 10th. And now, after they fixed the front and the most recent stop, he's fighting for a top 4 position.
It's a tough position right now for Elliott Sadler. If he's going to make this move, he needs to clear the 7. If not, he's going to get bottled up, and potentially the 20 could get by him.
Doesn't clear him there.
20 wasn't close enough to take advantage.
Allgaier still able to stay in front of the 1. Suarez still leading. Suarez has led 96 laps this evening.
The 20 of Eric Jones, the first one to go right against the wall. He's the first one that made that move. You see how much it helps him down the front straightaway. Now he's got to guess where the leaders go.
Eric Jones right up against the wall. Sadler goes up there as well. Now Eric Jones leaves the wall, trying to get by the 1. They're side by side for 3rd. Jones all the way to the bottom of the track. Battle for the lead continued. Justin Allgaier looked to the inside of Suarez.
The cat and mouse game of what line you're going to run is so impressive, Jeff. The 7 and the 19, they wait to the last minute to pick what line.
Here comes Austin Dillon into the mix, driving that number 2 this evening. All the way up the racetrack. 20 of Eric Jones trying to stay in the top 4. What an incredible race for the championship. You won't miss a second as we go NASCAR nonstop. You're watching the Ford EcoBoost 300 from Homestead-Miami Speedway, and you have seen all of the action take place in NASCAR nonstop as Justin Allgaier was able to make the pass on Daniel Suarez. And now Erik Jones challenging for the lead. Justin Allgaier had to avoid the lap traffic, and that brought the 20 of Erik Jones right up against the back bumper.
Yeah, lap traffic's got to have a little more sense than that. They got to be paying attention to what's going on and give the leaders the fast lane. They need to just get out of the way.
Justin Allgaier before tonight had only led 28 laps all season. And here comes Erik Jones for the lead, down at the bottom of the racetrack. Will he clear him as they come off? He's going to slide up the racetrack, and he will clear him. Now Allgaier with a little run. Can he get back by him? The crossover move as they enter 3. Allgaier trying to take the top spot back. Jones all the way up against the wall. Jones hangs on to the lead.
So now Erik Jones was running 12th, 13th, 14th, all kinds of problems. Just took the lead, and now back it down. All you have to do is stay in front of Allgaier. Save some fuel in case this thing goes green. Remember, he only has one set of tires left. So he needs to just save right here and try to bring the pace of the race down just a little bit.
Erik Jones' average running position today has been a little worse than 8th. And now he's up front as the laps wind down trying to win this championship.
And look at what he just did. He was right against the wall, but on that lap, look how far away he was from the wall. Again, he's now not against the wall. He's playing it safe. Caution.
Caution comes out. Who is the advantage now, Steve?
Well, the issue was the advantage now is going to be for the 19 and the 7, but the one of Elliott Sadler, you saw it at nonstop, made heavy contact with the wall. He's currently 7th, so he needs to come and get repairs, but I think big advantage here for the 19 of Daniel Suarez and the 7 of Justin Allgaier. This is what I mentioned earlier. You see some heavy contact with the wall. It kind of really just pulled him in.
Just got in and just couldn't get away from it. Listen, I think if you're Erik Jones and you're Elliott Sadler, you just have to pit here and put on tires.
Absolutely.
You have to put on tires, and then remember, you don't have tires, but a lot of people behind you won't either. There are other cars that will not have tires, so if the caution comes out again, there's going to be a little bit of buffer between you and the guys that come in and can put on tires at the next caution. We'll see how it all lays down, but you just got to pit right now.
15 laps in your tires, they have no choice. If they stay on the racetrack, the new tires, I think, we saw earlier, the 98 of Aric Almirola drove right through the pack with about 15 laps fresher tires. So I think that it's a no-brainer. Everybody comes and pits, but that 20 of Erik Jones will be putting on his last set of stickers.
This was the debris on the backstretch. Looked like maybe a patch that had been put on one of the cars had come off.
Many cars have been in the wall.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there are not more patches on the racetrack.
Right, kicked around quite a bit as we saw the safety crews back there trying to grab that. And now, as I mentioned before, the last green flag run at this racetrack historically has been under 16 laps. So this more than likely is not the last caution that we have seen this evening.
Well, and you remember the report from pit road, those drivers that changed tires on the last caution, they still saved those 6-lap scuffs. So they still have options, just not as good as stickers. They may come into play with another caution.
Race leader Erik Jones bringing the lead lap cars to pit road now. Let's go to Kelly.
And remember the last time Justin Allgaier in that red 7 car came to pit lane, it was fuel only. He's really happy with his race car. Feels like it's got a lot of good speed in it. So they're just going to give him 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And Sunoco Fuel sent him on his way. Dave?
The race leader called his car the best balanced it's been of the evening. It'll be just 4 fresh tires, air pressure adjustment, and fuel. Marty?
Dave, those 6-lap scuffs that Steve was mentioning a moment ago, that's what Elliott Sadler's team is going to put on here. He's worried about that right front fender. He said he feels like he got into the wall really hard on the right front, Mike.
Daniel Suarez saying he cannot get back to the throttle like the other guys can. A 4-tire change here and a wedge adjustment for Suarez.
Great run for Justin Allgaier, although he loses a spot there. Suarez gains 2. Erik Jones loses 2. Suarez out front in the battle for the championship.
Welcome back to Homestead-Miami, a championship about to be decided. Elliott Sadler came in running 8th on that pit stop, came out running 16th. Remember, they put those scuff tires on. Those were just re-glued moments ago, and when they put the left rear tire on, all the lug nuts fell off. They had to hand thread all 5 lug nuts. That's why Elliott Sadler lost all that time, Rick.
So a tough pit stop for Elliott Sadler. But also take a look at the 20.
You see right there, slow in the right front. A lug nut didn't want to come off. He had to go back and hit it an extra time. Didn't really kill the pit stop, but slow enough that he lost a couple spots on pit road. And why that is so significant, and instead of lining up 3rd or 4th, now Eric Jones will line up 5th on the inside. We've seen tonight that this 20 car has struggled on the inside. Now that was before the improvements to the car. We'll see if the improvements to the chassis have improved his restart opportunity as well.
In the front row of Amarola and Blaney, they both have old tires, so will them not being able to launch in the restart zone affect the guys behind them?
And did that information get conveyed to the driver? 7 and the 19 right behind the front row. Suarez all the way to the bottom of the track. Allgaier right in the middle. Those two clear that front row early. The 20 of Eric Jones does the same. Top 3 now. Suarez, Allgaier, Eric Jones.
That wasn't a good restart by Suarez. That was a great restart by Suarez to come out of turn 2 with the lead.
42 of Kyle Larson right up against the wall early. He's trying to make up some room. Elliott Sadler restarted all the way back in 16th.
If you wonder why we were talking about needing to save tires so you could have them on a restart, well, it's pretty clear. You saw that front row, they did not have tires. Blaney is all the way back to 15th.
Just how quick it goes away. As Eric Jones trying to stay in the top 3. Austin Dillon in the 2, trying to get by him for 3rd.
Continue even with the sun down, even with the track changing through all this pit cycle. The 19 of Daniel Suarez continues to lead 102 laps a day.
35 laps to go. Suarez out in front in the championship run. Allgaier impressing, running 2nd. Allgaier able to be out front for 6 laps this evening after qualifying in the worst position, which was 6th out of the championship 4. He has been able to consistently run up front. But could it be too little too late for Justin Allgaier? As Allgaier runs 2nd to Daniel Suarez.
We've talked all weekend long about how difficult this racetrack is to manage tires. That's what it's going to come down to if we don't have a caution. With 34 laps to go, Daniel Suarez is out to a 0.6 of a second lead, but Justin Allgaier, you said it, Jeff, has committed to the top of the racetrack since the start of practice. So as the tires age, they move up against the wall. Will he be more successful at it than Daniel Suarez? Will he be able to close that gap down on the race leader?
You see the gap growing 230 feet as they enter turn 1. And neither driver up against the wall. Suarez that time all the way down to the white line. Suarez out front, Allgaier running 2nd. For the championship, 33 laps to go.
Back behind these guys, Kyle Larson tried to slide job Eric Jones. He way overdrove turn 3 and slid in front of him. Had to get slow, just slow the car down hugely to keep from getting in the wall. The 20 car of Eric Jones got back by him.
And Jones has been right up against the wall, trying to use that momentum and a little bit extra banking. 20 degrees up against the wall, only 18 degrees down at the bottom of the track.
Well, Eric Jones, as you mentioned, up against the wall. He's the highest of every car on the racetrack right now. And it's the moment. He has to do something. Currently in 4th. You see him right there in that white and black 20 all the way up against the wall. Gets beat a little bit by the 42 on corner entry, but look how much speed he carries off the corner. Now's the time, Jeff. If you got to put your car in danger, put it at the risk, you have to do it.
31 laps to go. Suarez, Allgaier, 1 and 2 for the championship as we go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a minute. you haven't missed a lap as you look at the battle continuing between the 20 of Eric Jones and the 7 of Justin Allgaier in the Ford EcoBoost 300. That is a fight for second right now. Suarez out in front. Here comes the 7 again. Allgaier back by on the inside. A little contact there made. Looked like Allgaier tried to get up in front of the 20, but he wasn't clear yet.
And what's going on here is the following car is having to overdrive the corner entry to try to make the pass, but then off the corner they're so slow it allows the other car to cross them over.
He's trying it again. Eric Jones does the crossover.
So this time Eric Jones tried to stay high and tried to not carry so much speed, but try to slide up in front of the 7 on corner entry. It did not work.
Allgaier is going to be able to stay in second.
Down there, you are clear.
While
all
this
clear.
is going on, Suarez is just driving away. Eric Jones called Allgaier, just has not been able to clear him.
About 2 seconds the gap between Suarez and Allgaier. There you see the two fighting for second. While that's going on, Suarez continuing to put a bigger lead between himself and Justin Allgaier. 23 laps to go in the championship run. Dave.
And Rick, on this run, there are times when Eric Jones has been as fast as his leading teammate. We have indicators on timing and scoring which show us who has the fastest lap, and Eric has been that a couple of different times. That's when crew chief Chris Gabehart radioed his driver and he says, good, now I need absolute precision. Show me what you got. What he means is drive by this guy here, go for the leader, and stay off that wall.
Listen, both of these cars are faster than Suarez right now. They're about 0.3 a lap faster. So what's the strategy? Do you try to get by, if you're the 20, do you try to get by the 7, or do you work with the 7 and try to catch Suarez? It's only 21 laps left. Again, 0.2 faster.
Justin Allgaier running second, Kelly.
And he's been asking his spotter, TJ Majors, where the 20 car is beating him. TJ saying he's able to roll the middle just a little bit better, but then he said, forget him, forget about the 20, just go hit your marks.
And as you mentioned, they're running a little bit faster than what Suarez is running out in front of them, so they're reeling in Suarez each lap. Now it's under 1.5 seconds, the gap between Suarez and Allgaier.
I think you have a great point, though, Jeff. What's the 20 do? Because every time he tries this move right here, it slows the 2 cars down. He's going to try to dive underneath the 7. Although this time he has a little better angle on corner exit. How much will it slow him down? Will the 7 be able to cross him over?
And Allgaier gets into the wall. Allgaier into the wall coming off of 2. It slows his momentum down.
Now it's difficult. He just needs to try to get back into his rhythm because this 20, in my opinion, is going to catch that 19. So how do you know how that battle's going to go? If they get into it for the championship, the 7 has to be there. He comes down away from the outside wall in the front stretch. That's so the spotter can see the damage on the right side. You can't see it when you're up against the wall.
See right here, the 7's really close to the wall. This 20 slides up. 7 makes contact, stays against the wall for quite a while. Doesn't look like any spoiler damage, though.
Look at how close they're running, and then you get a little bit too close and it sucks him right into the wall.
That's a little harder contact than we've seen him make most of the day.
But with the championship on the line, Justin Allgaier trying to do everything he can to reel back in the 20 of Eric Jones and the 19 of Daniel Suarez. Now it's Joe Gibbs Racing teammates running 1 and 2.
And Daniel Suarez is going to have to start searching around, finding something, because his teammate of Eric Jones is running him down a ton. You see right here from 1.6 seconds to 0.6 seconds in just 3 laps.
And Lambert, precision here. We're way faster. Be smart. The lap. Take care of it. Be smart.
Will the race that Eric Jones just had with Justin Allgaier help him know how to pass the 19 of Suarez? We've seen what happens. You try to overdrive the corner entry, try to slide in front of him. Eric Jones was able to get that done with Allgaier. Was that a lesson he learned that he can now do to Suarez?
And look how much faster Eric Jones is than Daniel Suarez at the line.
The gap is closed now. Suarez just 3 car lengths in front of the 20 of Eric Jones, and Suarez not up against the wall. Jones all the way up against the wall, using that momentum. Little added grip right up against the wall.
Dig deep here. You got this.
Now Suarez right up against the wall as well, but he comes back away. Here comes the 20 of Eric Jones. He's got to run.
Give him that top.
What will he do with it? He stays up against the wall.
You heard the spotter say, don't give him that top. You see right there, Suarez turns down away from the wall on corner exit. That is not what he needs to do.
Now there are cars that are going to come into play here. They go to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to let the lead continue that battle up top. Suarez, a big run. It looked like Eric Jones had trouble getting into the turn.
Yeah, I think Eric Jones got into the wall on corner entry. I was just getting ready to say how patient Eric Jones was being setting up the pass, but then he overdrives turn one and gets into the wall.
Go get him.
There you heard him. You're just fine. Go get him. And he is. He's closing the gap once again.
We talked about it over and over and over. You know, the closer you get to the car in front of you, the easier it is to make this mistake. You just don't have the aero in the car. You're trying to push to get the lead, and you just overdrive it just a little bit. And once it touches the wall, I don't think that's bad, though. I don't think that's as bad as Allgaier's was when he got into it.
Suarez still out front, Mike.
Yeah, and there could have been some foreshadowing of this battle. Suarez was asked at his media appearance earlier this week how he would race his teammate Eric Jones. He said, look, we'll help each other up until the green flag drops, but once that happens, each one of us is on our own. He says, there's two of us, but there's only one trophy. He said, throughout the course of the year, I've let him go, and vice versa. That will not be the case tonight. We're going to compete hard. We could see one heck of a finish in 13 laps, guys.
He can't ride that rim like you, baby. Go get him.
Eric Jones, the 20-year-old from Byron, Michigan. Population of Byron, Michigan, 581 people. And then it's Daniel Suarez, the 24-year-old from Monterrey, Mexico. Population of Monterrey, Mexico, 5 million people.
Gets in the wall again. Once again, the closer he gets, the more he's got to throttle back a little bit, be a little more patient. It just takes the air off the car. So every time he gets within a couple car lengths, he gets into the wall. He's going to have to give himself a little bit of a cushion. When he gets to him, he's going to have to try not to be right against the wall. Try to be a half a car length away from the wall.
Daniel Suarez is doing a nice job. As that gap opens up, he moves off the wall, gives himself a little bit more room.
Right up against the wall and even some contact for Eric Jones. That 20 has continued to make contact as he pushes it ever so hard.
And the 7 of Justin Allgaier has done a nice job after his contact with the wall, settling in third, and he continues to try to gain back on these front two.
Rebounding from that contact, Allgaier trying to reel him back in. Closing in on the final 10 laps of the season.
Look at the eyes. Look at the determination of Daniel Suarez. Looks up in the mirror a couple times, understands what his gap is, but then look at the focus. You talk about how precision you have to be entering the top of the racetrack, Jeff. There's really no room for error.
Also, look how rough this racetrack is. You see both their helmets moving around inside their seats. See how much wheel input they're having to get them. It's toward the end of a run, old tires. Cars are very difficult to drive. We've talked about it, how abrasive this racetrack is on tires.
Here he goes, around goes Ray Black Jr. in the 07. With that slide on the front stretch, the caution has come out. Under 10 laps to go and a restart. Crew chief, do you come to pit road for tires?
Absolutely. There is no question in my mind with 27 lap tires, you wouldn't be able to hold the lead into turn one. You'd be passed before you ever got there.
Some are going to have stickers and some are going to have scuffs.
That could be the difference. First, it comes down to the pit crews.
Exactly.
The pit crews have to be efficient, have to do their job. Remember, you have to get all the lug nuts on. You can't risk a penalty post-race, so you have to be clean.
Let's take a look at what happened to Ray Black Jr. in the 07. Coming off turn 4.
He's really loose already before he even gets to the corner exit. This sets up pressure on the pit crews, pressure on the crew chiefs. Well before the restart, who's going to pit? Who's going to do 2? Who's going to do 4?
From what we understand, I think I have the 19 of Suarez. You see right here.
Yeah, that's Suarez's box.
That's never what you want to see. Now, the one good thing for Daniel Suarez, they should have a set of stickers. The 7 of Justin Allgaier should have a set of stickers. But Eric Jones in second, he's going to have some 6-lap scuffs.
You know the other benefit that is happening here? 19 of Daniel Suarez won the pole. He also got the #1 pit stall. That definitely could come into play here.
Absolutely, Rick.
Let's listen into the 7 radio.
All right, and where you save that last step for, buddy?
That's why we saved the last set.
That's it. I mean, stickers versus scuffs, 6-lap scuffs doesn't sound like much, but 6 laps are a lot. You wouldn't qualify on 6-lap tires, and this is going to be close to a qualifying run. You're looking at maybe a 5-6 lap run to the finish.
Remember in Blaney and Almirola started on the front row at the beginning of this row, and about 2 laps they were running 13th, 14th, 15th in that range. So you're going to have to put tires on.
There are 17 cars on the lead lap.
What makes it worse is who will stay out in desperation. The championship 4, I believe, are all going to come to pit road, but is there someone else on the lead lap that'll stay out in desperation and really bottle up the entire restart?
Does Elliott Sadler pit here? I mean, Elliott Sadler's running 11th. He's not going to win this race. He's not going to come from 11th to win this race. He's got to do something different. He's got to either stay out or do 2 tires. He cannot come on pit road and do the same thing that everybody else is going to do.
I think that's a great point for him. To run 11th is no different than staying out and finishing 11th because of the strategy.
Field lining back up on the back stretch. Everyone needs to be in the proper position when the caution came out, and now we just heard pit road is open.
I'm going to call. I know there's going to be at least 10. Man, it's tough.
Oh, I think coming to pit road is absolutely the call you have to make. The question is, can you afford to put 4 tires on it? With, I think, a restart 6 laps to go, I think you have to have 4 tires, Jeff. Those left sides are too old. The track is too wide. There are too many lanes you cannot protect.
Pressure now will be on the teams. Daniel Suarez. He's got mostly the 19 Cup team that is pitting him. Kelly.
And you can believe there were cheers here at the 7 pit when that caution came out. Justin Allgaier might have another shot at it. He said he was tight everywhere. They're going to take a little bit of wedge out of that right rear, and they're going to give him 4 sticker Goodyear tires to go to battle with, Dave.
Eric Jones' biggest worry is he won't have enough time for that high line to come in, but he'll get the used tires and fuel, Marty.
Elliott Sadler, same-day set of sticker tires. This might be a 2-tire stop for the 1 car. He said the car's a little bit too free. It's going to be a wedge adjustment, Mike.
An incredibly difficult decision for Scott Graves to make. They elect to come down pit road. They take 4 sticker Goodyears. They're hoping that'll help. They've got a lot of ground to make up. They're going to have a lot of cars to pass here on this restart. Rick?
It was a 2-tire stop for Elliott Sadler. He makes up 10 spots, comes off of pit road first, but will 4 tires prevail against the 2 tires of Elliott Sadler?
Yeah, and the 7 of Justin Allgaier, the Jackman fell coming around the car, and he lost a spot. Instead of restarting 4th on the outside, he's going to restart 5th. You see right here, the Jackman just loses his footing. Great recovery. Could have been much worse, but that's all it takes. That right there is the 1 position. It was really, really close with the 3 off pit road. Our race off pit road had the 7 behind the 3. I'm sure NASCAR will confirm that at the camera, but if that's the case, starting on the bottom versus the top, big difference, Jeff.
That's not the first Jackman we've seen fall today. I wonder if that pit road is a little slicker than normal.
Yeah, remember, that's the 48 Jackman right there, so he's probably going to be making some notes for tomorrow. What can he do to put a little more traction in the Sprint Cup pit box?
And the other thing, remember, right behind the 7 was where the fire was, and so they had to put the fire out. They tried to clean that up as much as possible, but maybe a little residue there to still make that box a little bit slick.
And NASCAR confirms it is the 3, then the 7, so the 7 will restart in the inside row, but oh my goodness, restarts are crazy. This one is not just for a win, it's for a championship, Rick.
Who will prevail? Elliott Sadler. They had a big shot there. Team owner Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the pit stall.
I love the call. I love the call that Elliott Sadler's team made. They were not going to win this championship without doing something. They are disadvantaged. There's no doubt they are disadvantaged with 2 tires, but they had to make this call.
Well, then think about this. If Elliott Sadler chooses the top with those 2 tires, stacks the top up, he can inadvertently help the 7. If the top doesn't go and the 7's on the bottom, it's going to be interesting to see the lane choice by the leader.
And Steve, you can imagine the the great feeling they had down here when the caution came out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the first guy sitting in that spot where he's sitting right now. He jumped up, gave everybody high fives when that caution came out. They knew this was their one and only shot. And how about the call by Mike Bumgarner to take on 2 tires here, see if it gets him a championship.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., he is the team owner of the 1 of Elliott Sadler and the 7 of Justin Allgaier. And then on the other side of this championship battle, You have Suarez and Eric Jones, and that's from Joe Gibbs Racing. So 2 teams with 4 cars fighting for the championship. Mike?
And Rick, listening to the radio conversation between crew chief Scott Graves and Daniel Suarez, it was a very difficult decision whether or not to come down pit road. Scott Graves was convinced that not many would come down and take tires. He anticipated that Suarez would have to pass as many as 10 cars in the closing laps. More cars came down pit road than they expected, and consequently, Suarez finds himself in a much better position than earlier anticipated.
Eric Jones was told the entire tire story around him with his competitors. Then he was told, you need the restart of your life, and then block like, well, you know.
And Rick, we focused on all the cars that came on the pit road, but the 14 of Cole Witt has decided to stay on the racetrack, and that has changed everything. That has taken Elliott Sadler on 2 tires. He's not the leader. He doesn't get lane choice. He must start in the bottom. All of that point I was trying to make about the 7 of Justin Allgaier, he's now on the top behind Eric Jones, behind used tires on the 14. I'm a little surprised with so much on the line that this 14 would stay on the racetrack.
I think that helps Elliott Sadler. I think having a car stay on the racetrack on old tires that's going to have a restart, he's got to go first. Elliott Sadler can respond to that. He has better tires than a 14. I think that actually helps him.
See, and I think it helps the 20. Because I think the 20 will be able to get to the outside of the 14, roll the top, and have the momentum. But this is why we race, Jeff. We're getting ready to see who's going to make the right move on the restart.
It's all about how the 14 can launch. They're adding a lap.
Lights
if
came
the
back
14 has trouble launching, and the 1 car of Elliott Sadler does a good job of anticipating that, I think it's an advantage to him. As opposed to, he was going to line up next to a car with better tires. He's now lining up to a car that has worse tires than he does. He put the better cars behind him, the better tired cars behind him, versus having them beside him.
Well, I think everybody was taken a little back by the 14 staying off the racetrack, or staying on the racetrack, especially the team of Elliott Sadler. Here's a crew member running down to the 14 pit box. Listen, take the bottom, asking, listen, we would love to have the top. Now, it's the 14's opportunity. He can do whatever he wants to do, but you can see the face of the crew member on the 1 pleading to give the 1 of Elliott Sadler the top of the racetrack.
He's saying, he is pleading, please take the bottom so I can have the top. But Elliott Sadler, it looks as though he will restart on the bottom of the track. But as you mentioned, Jeff, the launch of the 14 is going to be critical.
Everything. Everything.
He has over 30 laps on his tires compared to everyone else who came to pit road on lap 193.
Remember, you cannot change lanes until you get to the start-finish line.
All right, but just remember when you're racing
that's
here,
the key, is that Elliott Sadler's going to start next to him. If they change things, if he spins the tires erratically, if he has a major problem, then that's different. But under normal circumstance, you cannot change lanes until you get to the start-finish line.
We mentioned at the beginning of the show, how will the other 36 cars on the track affect the championship 4? We're about to see it. It'll be 3 to go when they get to the start-finish line. Again, race leader is Cole Witt in the 14. Elliott Sadler on the inside running second. He spun the tires. Elliott Sadler goes by right when they get to the start-finish line. Here comes the 19. Daniel Suarez trying to go to the high side.
You absolutely called it, Jeff. That really helped out the 19 and the 1 on the bottom lane.
The 19 of Suarez has cleared the 1 and back out front. Here comes the 3. Ty Dillon trying for a win. Sparks coming out from underneath the 1. Still holding on to second.
Clear by 4.
For the championship, 2 laps to go. Daniel Suarez with another great restart. Shot out to the lead. He's got a 3-car length lead over Elliott Sadler. The other championship contenders, Justin Allgaier back in 7th. Eric Jones is 8th. This time by, coming out of turn number 4. White flag in the air. One more time around. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Daniel Suarez, the 24-year-old from Monterrey, Mexico, has the lead and has been dominant. 132 laps out in front today. The one thing he wants to do is lead lap 133, to be out front for the final lap. As he comes out of turn number 4, he will be the first ever international champion in NASCAR.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Daniel, outside, buddy.
An entire country behind him. Daniel Suarez from Mexico, the first Latin American driver to win a NASCAR National Series championship. And once again, he had to win the race to win the championship under this format. Coach Joe Gibbs celebrating with the team. Alex Bowman, crash coming off of turn number 4. He is out of the car and will get into the safety vehicle, go back to the infield care center.
Another one tomorrow.
And the team is going to go see their champion driver. Daniel Suarez, the best he finished in the NASCAR Mexico Series was second. He had 10 wins in that series. A year ago, the Rookie of the Year in the Xfinity Series. And now in his second full season in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, he is a champion. Daniel's mom was up on top of the pit box. His dad was too nervous. Said he had to watch from the grandstands. The nerves didn't get in the way for Daniel Suarez today. A dominant performance. Eric Jones taking a look at the damage to the right side of the car and the disappointment. Such a dominant year, 4 wins. Eric Jones coming into this championship 4 as a teammate to Daniel Suarez. They wanted one of them to win the championship for Joe Gibbs Racing. Tonight, it was the 19 of Daniel Suarez. So close for Justin Allgaier. Incredible performance put together by the 17. And you can already see the emotions. It's hitting him. He is the NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. What a leap of faith Daniel Suarez made to come to America and run in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Elliott Sadler, the 41-year-old. His family here. We heard the pep talk. No matter what happens, we're going to go after this. And you can continue to see the elation. Daniel Suarez completes an incredible season. His 3rd win of the season and his 3rd win of his career wins him the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship. The team celebrates. We will celebrate with them when we come back to Miami. 2016 champion Daniel Suarez.
She's come to America from Mexico.
I want to win a championship for all the people that has been on my side, for Latin America, for all the people that has been supporting me a lot, for all the fans here in the US, in Mexico, Latin America. I'm just very proud to be the only Latin American that is battling for a championship.
Checkered flag, he wins at the Monster Mile.
Hopefully we can get it done for all of them.
What a team, what a team.
2 times he celebrated in victory lane earlier, and it was this restart. He was on the inside of row 2, and when the 14 of Cole Witt checked up, the momentum was with the 19 of Daniel Suarez. He was able to get by the 1 of Elliott Sadler, who had just 2 fresh Goodyear tires, trying for that track position. In the end, Daniel Suarez continued the domination that he had shown all race long. Pulled away, and now is hoisting the championship flag. Joe Gibbs Racing gets their first championship with...
That's a champion, buddy.
That was Wayne Otten, series director, letting him know. 2016 championship going to Daniel Suarez for Joe Gibbs Racing. Tomorrow in the Sprint Cup Series race, 2 cars from Joe Gibbs Racing will fight for the title.
Looked like it was going to come down to the 2 cars again, 2 Joe Gibbs Racing cars, and we saw the strategy of Cole Witt and his team stay out late on tires, and that had a huge influence on this race. They ended up finishing 18th. I have to wonder if, in retrospect, if they'd make that same decision again.
Into this big stage I got set up for you. I'm on my way.
They gave him the green light to make his way to the championship stage. The race winner and the series champion.
We weren't sure, Rick. We weren't sure at the Xfinity level with Kyle Larson, Austin Dillon, the Sprint Cup drivers, if it was going to take a race win. But this championship 4 put on a great race. When it all counted, they all restarted inside the top 5. And Daniel Suarez with the race win and the championship.
You see the steam rolling out from the car. That's from the burnouts. That's from the celebration that has been done over the past 3 and 4 minutes. He didn't even unstrap his helmet yet. Still waiting to be able to celebrate with his team. Daniel Suarez about to climb out of the car to celebrate the win and the championship, Marty.
And Ricky's been in the car savoring this moment. And what a journey from Monterrey, Mexico to to Homestead-Miami to win a championship. The stage dive into the crew guys. Hugs around everywhere for Daniel Suarez. What a moment. Girlfriend Sylvie behind us as well. Mom Rosie here. Dad Alejandro is coming around the corner. You gotta love it. Daniel told me growing up in Mexico, you said, I didn't have a lot of money, I had a dream, but honestly, when you moved to the United States, did you think that this dream would come true?
Man, I don't think I can speak English right now, man. I'm just wordless. Man, obviously, my family worked super hard since I was 11 years old to give me the right equipment to get better and to get one day to this day. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hi, Dylan, in for congratulations.
I'm just very proud of this team. Everyone that has been helping me to get to this point. All my sponsors, my friends, everyone in Mexico. I just can't believe it.
Talk to me about the sacrifices your parents made and the moment you decided, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna move to the United States.
When I was 18 years old, I was racing in Mexico already. We were winning races. My dad, Jimmy Morales, Carlos Slim, they gave me the opportunity to move to the U.S., to learn English, to start a new life, and try to follow a dream. And thanks to that, we are here right now.
The hardest part, learning English. You said you watch TV to do that.
Watching cartoons to learn English, but man, I just can't believe it. I learned English watching cartoon and as well going to a shop back in those days with X-Team and Wildeye, Coleman Presley, my buddy. All these guys, they helped me a lot in the beginning of my career to learn English and to learn everything about race cars.
You said this week, I'm not just racing for Mexico, I'm racing for all of Latin America. So what would you like to say to them in Spanish right now?
Muchas gracias a todos, gracias por su gran apoyo, fin de semana con fin de semana, esta va para todos ustedes.
You do this for your country today, Daniel?
For my country and for everyone, all the fans here, all the media from Mexico. I just can't believe it. This is a dream come true.
I gotta ask you one racing question. That final restart with a 14 out there, what was going through your mind as you went through the restart?
I was a little worried because I knew that the 14 wasn't going to be as fast as everyone else there, but it worked out.
Congratulations, you're a NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
All right, Daniel Suarez said he was at a loss for words, could barely speak English. He found the words, though, and he found the way to get to victory lane and win a championship as well, Rick.
The other drivers so respectful of what it takes to accomplish what Daniel Suarez has just done. Saw Ryan Blaney come in, Ty Dillon come in to congratulate Daniel Suarez. The trophy presentation when we come back to Miami. The celebration that started about 5 minutes ago when he climbed out of the car won't end until the next race, which won't be until Daytona in February. They'll be able to cherish this championship and savor what has been accomplished by this team. Really impressive for the crew chief. This is back-to-back championships.
Yeah, Scott Graves won last year with Chris Buescher in the Roush Fenway organization, decided it was a better move for his career to move over to Joe Gibbs, the opportunity to work with Daniel Suarez. Was able to get Daniel his first win this year at Michigan, and then here he is in Miami. Really drove a tremendous race, led 133 laps.
The development of Daniel Suarez has been really fun to watch. He's a guy that we've seen make mistakes, but when he makes a mistake, you rarely see him make it again. He's learned under fire. He's been driving really good equipment, taking advantage of that equipment, doing a really good job. I really like his approach to racing. I really like the way he attacks it. He's fun to talk to. He's energetic. He cares. He puts a lot of effort into it. But I really like his willingness to learn. I really like the fact that he's willing to step back, take a look. How can I be better? And then apply that.
Yeah, I remember sitting down in Richmond 5 or 10 minutes between practices just to have a conversation, and he told me that he watches all of the Sprint Cup races at home by himself with the radio plugged into one of his teammates, uses the in-car of one of his teammates, and watches hundreds of miles after one another. Watch how Kyle Busch, how Carl Edwards, how Denny Hamlin, how Matt Kenseth drive, adjust their car, communicate with their crew chief. That is a true student of the game. That is someone that is relishing the opportunity, is willing to put in the hard work. Think of the things he's overcome just in the communication side.
Right.
It's really amazing. As difficult as this sport is, Scott Graves, Daniel Suarez have been a great combination, and he deserves this. He proved all year long and proved it once again. Without a doubt, the most consistent through the chase. Still, worst finished 5th and wins the chase finale in Miami.
Said he learned to speak English by watching cartoons and television as he makes his way up onto the stage, getting ready for the trophy presentation. But his English has gotten so much better since 2 years ago when he first came into the sport. Let's go to the stage and Chris Devoda for the trophy presentation.
Thank you, Rick. It is 1,714 miles from Homestead, Florida to Monterrey, Mexico. And this is a moment as Daniel Suarez continues to hug friends and family, and now his owner, Coach Gibbs. It's a moment he has most certainly been waiting for since he first drove a go-kart at age 11. Are you ready for a little bit of hardware?
I think I am ready.
All right, let's turn things over to Senior Vice President of Marketing Communications for Comcast, Peter Intermaggio, to begin the festivities.
Thank you, Krista. Well, they say that this is the series where names are made. It certainly is the series where champions are made. Daniel, on behalf of the 100,000 employees of Comcast, we congratulate you for being the NASCAR XFINITY Series champion this year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter. And now for the trophy, NASCAR Vice Chairman Mike Helton.
Daniel, ever since you decided to come to NASCAR, you've been making milestones, and watching your career develop has been incredible, so thank you. But you've also been making milestones for NASCAR. So on behalf of all of NASCAR, we're honored to have you as our 2016 Xfinity champion. Congratulations to you, Joe Gibbs Racing, Toyota, and Eris, and the whole group. We're very honored to have you as our champion.
Set that right over here. And we talked, Daniel, about 3 hours ago. I said, and I know you talked about this, the fact that it was just a few years ago you were working on your English by watching cartoons. I said, if you win this thing, you're going to have to do a lot of interviews. You said that was a good problem to have.
Honestly, right now I don't mind doing all the interviews of the world. Right now I'm just so happy for my team, so happy for my family that everyone is here. A lot of friends. The sponsors, Aris, Intercept Batteries, Juniper, DeWalt, Toyota, Coca-Cola, everyone that has been helping this program to be here right now.
I know as you got out of the car, you're hugging competitors, your sisters, your mom. It took a while for your dad, Alejandro, to make his way to you. When you were a young boy, he's the one who got you interested in cars. He owns a restoration business back in your home country of Mexico. The father-son bond is special. The father-son bond over cars. What you just gave your family, a NASCAR, I'm going to say this, a NASCAR championship. hard to put into words, I would imagine.
It's very hard to put into words. I'm speechless right now. I'm wordless right now. I'm just very proud of everyone. Very thankful to have the family that I have, my mom, my dad, that they gave me everything, all the tools to be here right now, that they put me into a go-kart even when my family didn't have all the economy support or the racing background. They support me, and right now we are just living a dream.
NASCAR Vice Chairman Mike Calton, when you came up here, he said he's going to be a fun champion. What does the word champion mean to you, and how are you going to represent the sport of NASCAR, not just here in the States, in your country, Mexico, but you said this is big for kids who are dreaming anywhere.
I just love NASCAR. When I was racing karting in Europe and all over the world with Scuderia Telmex and Telcel Racing and Jimmy Morales and my dad, one day they told me about NASCAR, and they told me that they want me to give me an opportunity in soccer racing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, baby! Good job, baby!
It's competitor Bubba Wallace with congratulations. I know you're excited, and I know you want to celebrate. I don't want to hold you up, so I'm going to bring in Coach, if we could, and talk to you. And you can go ahead and stay here. Coach, you've been through a lot of championships, a lot of championship scenarios. What does it mean to bring a 24-year-old young man from Mexico up to this championship stage?
We were just talking. We had a meeting. We had Eris, met with Bob. We got Bruce here. And we met 2 years ago, and with Carlos. And then we sat down and talked about this young guy. And for us to, in 2 years, to be where we are tonight, it's a thrill for all of us. The other people in that car are Interstate, Juniper was on there, and DeWalt FlexVolt. Just thank all of them. I want to thank all the fans and everybody here tonight. This is going to be a big deal for, I think, our sport.
And can you say why? I know we've talked about that a lot, that storyline, how big it is for NASCAR globally.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. And I want to say a big thanks to JD, everybody back home that works on our cars. Just, hey, thank you. Thank you, Bub. And, hey, Lord's blessed us with a great night. We're going to enjoy it, I can tell you that.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations to you, Coach, to you, Daniel Suarez, your 2016 Xfinity Series champion. And as he continues the celebration, we go down to Dave Burns, who is with Daniel's teammate.
Yep, that is Eric Jones. And Eric, we have to start first of all with the race and how it played out there at the end. You lined up behind the 14. What were the thoughts going through your mind at that point?
Well, I thought the 14 would at least attempt to go. He just kind of sat there and didn't really even attempt to go. So that's pretty unfortunate. Really not a lot of respect for, guys chasing down the championship, but I thought we were in an okay spot if he had gotten up to speed and we would have been able to kind of go to the top and make something happen, but didn't even get really that chance. We were to turn one and we were like 8th place. So it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it now, but just kind of unfortunate.
How would you describe how you and your team fought back tonight?
It was a valiant effort. It just didn't go. It just didn't come with a big reward at the end. So the GameStop Camry wasn't very good to start, and we worked hard to get it good by the end. And once the sun went down, the track cooled down, we started to get better and better, and the top really started to come in at that point on both ends. And I just felt like we were kind of able to get up there and rim ride better than everybody else. And ran the 19 down there before the last yellow. Just didn't have enough time to really get around him. But after that caution, I knew we weren't in a great spot. We didn't have any sticker tires left, and we had to put on some scuffs. So just didn't work out, It's just one of those deals, and just didn't play into our hand.
Eric, I know you wanted to do well for your dad tonight. How much was he on your mind?
Yeah, he was a fair amount. I was hoping we could bring it home for him, and we took the lead there at one point, and that was pretty cool. I definitely would have loved to have gotten back-to-back championships here, but just didn't play out this year, and, there's always next year. So got to move on and go get better.
Next year will be the Cup Series, so how will you remember this year in Xfinity?
Definitely a good learning year. I learned a lot, really about racing itself, more so than I thought I would have. There's a lot of things that I feel like I really didn't know yet, and learned a lot of those things throughout the year, and I feel like hopefully we'll be better at them next year. So just racing and making sure you're putting yourself in good spots and taking what the car's giving you. It's not things that I did necessarily all year long, so hopefully I can do a little bit better job next year of those things, and it'll play out better.
Eric is not the champion this year. He's acted like it for the last half hour. He's been signing autographs. This is a real NASCAR scene down here. A lot of folks still reminding Eric that he is their champion. Mike?
And Elliott Sadler's gotten similar response. A lot of former drivers, Hall of Famers coming up to congratulating him on a great season. But I know what's on your mind right now is coming up just a little bit short. What are your thoughts right now?
It's heartbreaking, man. We to be that close and kind of be in a position there at the end. The guys made a great call to put me in that spot. Man, we've had a great season. I've had a time of my life here at Junior Motorsports. Dale and Kelly have given me such a great opportunity, and I got such great partners with One Main Financial and the support they give us in this racing program. And to come up short, yeah, I'm sad for myself, but I'm more sad for my sponsors and my team, my guys in the shop. I love them to death, all the hard work they put in these cars. I wanted to win this championship for them, really bad.
You had a really good shot in the closing laps on that final restart. The 14 was in the mix. We know that your team was negotiating with theirs. What was the response you got from them?
I just wanted to see if they would let us have the top, or either just let us race for it, because he was in such on old tires. But, he decided to stay up there, and I made a mistake on the restart, and because he didn't go, and I was a little timid, and I let Daniel get a good run on me, and congratulations to him and his team. He did a really good job on that restart, and I messed up a little bit. So all that being said, honestly, Mike, this has been a dream come true season for me. I really do have a good race team. I love the guys. Kevin has done such a great job. I missed him here tonight being on the box, and we'll go back and regroup. But to finish second is definitely hard to swallow.
How much did that affect you not having your primary crew chief?
Yeah, just a few communication stuff that we were going through under caution about when to pit and what adjustments to make, stuff like that. But Bummy did a good job, man. He came in here, championship weekend. You're talking about sitting on the pressure cooker for one weekend. So Bummy did a good job, and the rest of my guys definitely stepped up to the plate. And that's what this team's all about. We love each other. We're on the same page, and we're definitely, when something happens, we all pull each other up. So I'm the sad guy here right now that I can't hand them a trophy, and that's what I told Kelly after the race, that I really wanted to hand her and Dale a trophy tonight. And we just came up a little short. And it wasn't by lack of trying. It's just, we got beat tonight, and we'll regroup. But again, I'm so glad my mom's here, my dad, my family, wife, and kids here to support me, and we'll go back and celebrate a really good season that we've had.
Elliott Sadler has plenty to be proud of. Second place in the championship, Kelly.
Certainly, and for Justin Allgaier, he crossed the line 6th, comes away 3rd in the championship. And Justin, I'm going to ask you to start by taking me through that final restart, get your thoughts on it, and the decision by the 14 team to stay out.
Well, they, obviously in this sport you got to take chances sometimes, and they took a chance, and unfortunately, I was super excited on coming off a pit road because it was all 4 of us that were fighting for this championship, gonna have to battle it out. And I knew we had a really, really fast brand pressure agriculture Chevy. We had raced all night with Daniel and Eric and Elliott and ran up front and ran second a lot of the night. And so to not even be able to race for it at the end, I think that was probably the hardest part. Just knowing that your shot was kind of gone. But everybody at Junior Motorsports, I know Elliott said it, but everybody at Junior Motorsports works so hard. This has been so much fun this season. We've had a blast. I told you before today, we came in here with no pressure on ourselves. We wanted to go out there and lay it all on the table and get the best finish we could, and we did that. And I'm probably more bummed for that we didn't get a better finish for our guys, because we did what we needed to do tonight, and it came down to somebody else's mistake that took us out of it. But I can't thank Xfinity and NASCAR for all they do for our sport. To be here, the first Xfinity Series chase, to have the fans, the support that we all had, from everybody, it was really special and just a lot of fun.
All right, well, they gave it everything they had, certainly, so they can walk away with their heads held high. Rick?
In the first year of the chase for the Xfinity Series, all 4 teams battling for that championship. And it comes down to Daniel Suarez in the win. Let's go now to Krista, Kyle, and DJ.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.